evening, everyone. Good evening. It's the two Marks. We're back again. And we've got a bit of news-ish, I think. Anyway, and we're going to talk all about the impending appointment of Mr. Zerbi and all things Spurs. All things Spurs. An interesting couple of days, bits and pieces coming out. We'll talk about it all. Mark, how are you, mate?
All good, mate. Never hard day at work. I'm not sure what time I finished. It wasn't very late.
Listen, mate, if you got to go work, you've got to go work, don't you? It don't matter what you're doing. You're still there all day, aren't you, mate, at the end of the day? So there you go. So, some of us are lucky enough not to have to get up to go to work anymore. But there you go.
Yeah, mate. Yeah,
not out of choice, though, mate. You know me. I'd be out in the van now, mate, if I could. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you still get that doing it, mate.
That's it, mate. There you go. Going to say a few hellos, Mark. See who's in.
I will do. Who was first? Oh, Eugene's first in.
There you go. Eugene's first in. Eugene will be on in a minute, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's sat in the back room at the moment.
He'll be on in a minute. We're going to say a few hellos and we'll start bringing some people on. Big up to you, Eugene. Pete's in.
Pete.
Big up, Pete. He said, I've just seen so many comments on Kate and Jim's defending Mason Greenwood. Big up to Kate, by the way, for the redirect. Kate and Jim, thanks very much. Couldn't believe my eyes. The Zerbi is one thing, but defending Mason Greenwood just in case he gets bought to Spurs. We'll talk about that, Pete. We'll talk about that later on. What I'll do is, Pete, I'll star that, and then if you jump on later, we'll talk about it. See how it's going. Who's next? Who's next?
Hang on, it's my job, isn't it? Sporting Journey, big up.
Big up to you, Sporting. Yep, like and subscribe, everyone, if you haven't. We're flying along. We try and be real, as always, and I don't mind bringing this little thing up here. We are the Realism channel, or we try to be. We try to be honest, try to be, what have I pressed there? Forthright is the right word, I suppose, to use. And
it's only our opinions, isn't it?
At the end of the day, that's all it is, mate. That's all it is.
Opinions are like, it's too early, so a certain body part, everyone's got one.
Spanners, spanners. Yeah,
everyone's got one.
Yeah, there you Who's next? Lee's in. Big up to you, Lee. Hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, if your dad's in here.
Yeah, he is.
He is in here, is he?
Yeah, he's the one above, I think.
Yeah, that is.
I think
stick his link in the chat 'cause he's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, but stick his link in, Sporting. Stu, sticks Lee's link in and get him a couple of subs tonight. Put a smile on his face. There you go. Big up to you, Guy. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well.
Anyone? Another Mr. Simpleton.
There you go.
I missed a couple of comments, but just saying hello.
Big up to Jermaine Defoe.
Manager of Woking.
There you go. Woking did the work quicker than Spurs.
There you go.
What can you say?
I'm sure I went to Wokin's ground years ago.
You maybe did. Maybe you did, mate. I don't know.
I'm sure Yeovil played on, mate. Or there was some sort of final like that.
Well, maybe. Good evening to Drula. Big up Cookie and the Sheriff is around and the chat. It's a Kate and Jimbo raid, which we are very thankful for, Drula. So big up to you all. And Paige is in. Big up to Paige. Ghosted's in. Big up to Ghosted. Mark's in. Big up to you, Mark. Still love that dog. Callie's in. Big up to Callie. Thanks for coming over, Callie. Logan's in. Good evening, Cookie, Sheriff, the chat, and the rest of the panel. Big up, everyone. Flicks is in. Well, you're going to see him in a minute as well.
Yeah, he's in the back.
And Flicks is coming in as well. So he can tell us what he thinks about the Zerbi because he's on our show. There you go, Flicks. When we come on your show, we'll tell you what it's all about. Big up to you, Flicks. He's going to be in a minute. Let's add Joey to the stage. Not yet.
No,
I didn't mean to the stage. I meant to the thing. It's all right. Yeah. It's me talking, Mark. Don't worry.
All right.
Logan's still in. Zerbi is such a risk. Just have to hope he pulls it off. Well, talk about it. Marianne, YouTube.
Marianne.
Big up to you, Marianne. Good evening to you.
The original YouTube member, isn't it?
Oh, the original, absolutely.
First one.
Everyone's talking to each other. Kate and Jim are in. Big up to Kate and Jim. Hope you're well. I'm going through everyone as quick as I can. Mark Taylor, big up to you, Mark. Sully's in. Big up to you, Sully. AU's is in. Big up to you, mate. Hope you're well.
Levy raid. My goodness.
Wembers is in.
Wembers.
Big up to you, YouTube member. Can't believe that Enoch has this much of a death wish about them. So to me, they actually want us to go down. The Zerbi won't last 5 weeks with these time wasters. There you go.
Sorry. Patience, Steve.
Patience, Steve. He'll stick it in a sec. Bear
Patience
with
is a virtue.
Yeah, absolutely.
It means you got to open YouTube and bloody...
there you go. I'll let you do that then. Get that ready, Mark.
Big up to Daniel. Echoing in a minute. Hang on.
There you go. It's all right. You do your thing. Big up to you, Daniel. Big up to Soul Boy. Hope you're well. Dominic's in. Big up to Dominic. Hope you're well, mate. Berlin Lounge is in. Hope you are well as well, Berlin Lounge. Interested to hear your views on the 200. Yeah. Listen, we'll talk about it, and we'll see what you say in the chat, because do you think West Ham are staying up and Spurs are going down, or do you think someone else is going down Berlin after the last round of fixtures? You let us know. Adam's in. Big up to you, Adam. Hope you're well, mate. Terry's in. Big up to you, Terry. Robert's in. Big up to Robert. Hope you're well. Kerris is in. Big up to Kerris. Hope you're well. Davy Jones is in. Big up, Davy. Hope you're well, mate. Strictly's in. Evening to you.
Hang on. There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone go.
There you go. There's Lee's channel. Big up to you, Lee. There you go. A few people subscribe to Lee, if they don't mind. Get him a couple of subs. Put a big smile on his face tonight. He'll be well chuffed. Big up, everyone. I hope you can do that. Pete saying early days. Get the likes up, guys. And sub if you haven't. Absolutely. Hit that sub button. Hit that like button. Get us to 50 likes as soon as you can. Golden Sun's in. Big up to you.
Did you say hello to Strictly Rhythm?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
big up, Shem. Hope you're well, mate.
I was on another screen.
Paul G's in. Big up to you, Paul. Schultz is in. Big up, Schultz. Hope you're well, mate. Is there anyone else? Phil Coys. Big up to you. Jane's in. Big up to you, Jane. Hope you're well. Kate's in. Hope you're well, Kate. We're flying along here. F. Sank's in. Big up to you, mate. All the usuals are in. The Lodger man's in. Big up to you. Hope you're well. There's some geezer called Nigel. I don't know what he's doing.
Big up, Nigel.
Big up to you, Nigel.
That's Holly Bob's partner.
And there you go. We're there. So,
bloody hell, mate.
I believe.
Rob, would you say hello?
Rob's in. Rob's just flew in. Big up to you, Rob. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. And now Mark will let some people in. Adam's in. Yep. Said hello to Adam. Yep.
Oh, all right. Right. I'll start adding them in. Right.
Here they come. Here they come. Here they come.
Flicks.
Yeah. And Joey's in.
And Danny.
There you go.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Everyone's in. I can't believe it. Everyone was waiting and flying.
No,
right, everyone's like big up to Dan. Big up to Eugene, Joey, and Flicks. Hope you're all well. And had a good day today. Well, what do we make of the? I suppose it's impending. Is that the right word? Impending signature of Roberto De Zerbi. We might as well start there, really. Let's go with Eugene first, because Eugene was the first one in the back room, so we might as well go down that route. Eugene, tell us how you're feeling about the very strong rumours that Roberto De Zerbi will be our manager on, let me add, £12 million a year.
Big up, guys. Big up. Please don't forget to subscribe to all the channels that's been represented here, right? Of course, the 2 Mark shows, right? And big up to Dan E from Hot Hood and Flicks, of course. And I think the first time with Flicks and Stephen. Stephen. No,
Joey.
Oh, Joey. Okay, Joey.
Joey there, Flicks there. Yeah. Here comes.
Yeah, big up to all you guys, and of course all you guys in the chats, right? Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, and all the YouTube things and good stuff, right? I think I will condense all my feelings and let it all out because I'll be here for a short while. After that, I'll be going off because it's going to be 2 a.m. here in Malaysia by the time all this done. For me, I'll go like this first, right? As for Zerbi, as for any manager that I've seen ever since Levy said we got our Tottenham back, I was and don't care. Frank don't care. Tudor don't care. Zerbi don't care too, right? To tell the truth, right? But of course, we are in this scenario now that we are in the relegation battle, right? The most important part, what the owners are going to do is we're going to sit back and see whether Zerbi is going to be our next manager, because I'll still follow the same principle like I've been following with the players, right? Until they sign the contract, then I will believe it, because maybe deep down inside, right, if Zerbi doesn't get past that line for us, right, I think Ben Davies is going to be our manager. That's how I feel. And guys, if you go back and watch my previous show that I did, right, and I did say a few things that are I think a bit controversial. If Guy is still in the chats, right, we had back and forth. I was saying that the Spurs fans in the home stadium are not adapted to a relegation fight, right? We did all that hoo-ha, right, outside the stadium, but when it came to the crunch time in the stadium, the fans were walking out. If we are supposed to support the team, we are not supposed to walk out. That's my feelings, my opinion, my feelings, right? And the sad part is that I'm in Malaysia. I did a show yesterday. I had a very big back and forth with some of the local London fans and all that. I understand the signs of being disappointed, the money spent, and whatever is done. But if we are in the relegation battle, and if we are in the stadium, we have to sit back and support the players. Not outside the stadium, but inside the stadium. That's why the parade outside the stadium was, for what I don't know, it made us look like the laughing stock. I don't know. I know we've been a laughing stock the whole season, this season, right? So the only thing about Zerbi, if he comes in, if he can get a tune out of the players, I'm all for it. But if he comes in, he still can't get a tune out of the players, right? What are we gonna see? The only thing is that I was telling the guys yesterday on my show is that on my pragmatic side, about 2 weeks ago, I did a show on Harry's Hesper TV show. I said, I can't see us winning another game if we go on like that. Well, I think during Frank's tenure, something broke there. The players lost respect to the manager first, then later to the club. Remember, Romero came out and started calling out the board, and he called out the board 2 times, and he wasn't disciplined. You get what I'm saying? So now the players seems to be running the club. Like, if I want to show up, I'll show up, right? For the European games, they show up. For Liverpool game, they showed up for a bit of fight, right? But Liverpool was shit too. We have to take that into account, right? So now that's the dangerous part. We broke something this season from last season, and we still haven't been able to fix it because somehow or another, our players are like heartbroken, and and now all of them are like more or less all of them are throwing out the toys out of pram. Apart from a few of them who put in the effort. Like, sorry to say, guys, Archie Gray has put in an effort. Matisse Tell has been putting in effort, and all these players were the players that we're calling them shit. You get what I'm saying? But they're putting in the effort, plus a few more players. Not a lot of them, but a few more. Right. So it comes down to now is that, can the new manager, whoever it is, get them clicking? If the Zerbi comes in and he does it, kudos to him. Because I hear we're going to spend a lot of money, guys. He's going to be the 3rd highest paid manager, £12 million a season, 5-year contract, right? If he comes in and it doesn't work out in another 1.5 years, and we don't stick with him, we sack him and we're going to compensate him again. Think about it. And that's just not him. If he comes in, he will come in with his backroom staff, his technical things, the blah, blah, blah. There's no entourage for him, right? We are going to be in deep shit again. So unless, and not to say there's going to be a big, starving off the relegation bonus too, right? So it's all about the money coming in now, right? So the sad part of football is turned to all about money. And if Zerbi comes in and doesn't stick to his word about, in the first place, he said that he'll sit back until summer to make sure Spurs are in the Premier League, then he'll decide more or less, yes, to come to join Spurs. right? But now is the time that the money's being thrown on the table, pressures on him to join us. To tell the truth, guys, if I were him, I'll take the job. 12 million pounds a year. Who wouldn't? Right? But
if he signs a 5-year contract, that's cost us 60 million quid if he gets sacked. You've got to pay him his contract.
Yeah, there'll be negotiation. Yeah, minus here, minus
60
there.
million quid for 18 months until he throws a hissy fit and they sack him.
Maybe he'll get 40,
depends
45.
what deals they got on the contract.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
There'll be some clauses there. But what I'm saying now is that, okay, then the other part is, right, like all mainstream media hyping it up now. Every mainstream media you hear is about Zerbi. So, but of course, we also, I don't even know. I want to go on talking about what happened. That's going online. There's this political thing going on there. So, right, to tell the truth, right, to think about the football first. All I got to say this, right, all you home-going fans, right, stay in the stadium, no matter what the result is. You need to show the support for the boys now. We got 7 games left. I think 3 home games or 4 home games, if I'm not mistaken. These 3-4 home games, 3 home games are very important. You get what I'm saying? Win 2, draw 1, most probably we are safe, right?
Yeah.
But in 2 weeks' time, the test will come because West Ham is playing Wolves first. If they beat Wolves, they're going to jump us. And we're only 18. No matter who the manager is at that time, right? The pressure will be on. And really pray to God that they show up and being able to handle that pressure. If not, guys, a guy has a postcard out there, right? It says, "Welcome to the championship."
If you want my opinion, right? Now, I've said this for a long time. Whilst Enoch are at the club, it doesn't matter who the manager is. It does not matter. You could have Jesus Christ himself come in and they still wouldn't back him. It does not matter who the manager is. That's only my opinion. That is my opinion. It really doesn't matter.
No, exactly. I've always said that.
Go on, Flicks. I was going to
exactly.
say,
Yeah. Big up everyone in the chat. You know, it's. I've said it for quite some time. Enoch, 25 years, 2 trophies. We have seen not a lot of change, and it's just getting worse, isn't it? So until they go, it'll just be the same. With Zerbi coming in, I just think it's complete and utter madness. I really do. And a 5-year contract. But rumour has it, if he does keep Spurs in the Premier League, he gets a big bonus. Is that right?
Yeah,
I've heard similar.
Allegedly, yeah.
So it's 7 figures, and so you're talking $1 million at least if he keeps us up.
It'll be more. It'll be more than that, won't it?
Well, it's 7 figures is £1 million at least, isn't it?
But my worry is, right, even though it's rumoured to be a 5-year contract, which this could be confirmed tomorrow, if I remember rightly, if Spurs go down, then is he going to stick with us? Or is he going to jump ship? And then, obviously, because there's a 5-year contract on the table, he's got to have a payout. So once again, Enoch and the board just haven't got a fucking clue what to do, running around like loonies. Who do we get? Who do we get? Who do we get? Regards to Tudor, that appointment should have never happened in the first place.
Yeah, well, literally, they were after Zerbi when we hired him. And he kept saying no.
That is true, yeah.
Guys, it will be logical, right? If the Zerbi has a get-out clause, right? And if the club now is saying, I'm offering all this money, but there's no get-out clause, right? If we don't get relegated, you get a bonus. If we get relegated, you have to take a pay cut. Maybe that's why he's sitting down there and contemplating it. If there was a get-out clause for him, I would have signed the contract yesterday. You get what I'm saying?
Well, he's having a big payday, isn't he?
Yeah.
But
it's £1 million quid for like 18 months' work. Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, I know he's laughing, isn't it? But it's just a total joke, isn't it? When you look at the situation we are in, we are shambles.
Does it smack of desperation?
Yes.
Sorry?
Does it smack of desperation?
Of course it does, 100%.
I can see it, but I can see him doing another Conte speech. Like the one when we played decent club and all that.
I said that on my last stream about a couple of hours ago. I said, you know what? Zerbi, he gives me Conte vibes. he's not going to be one to stick around if it don't go his way. He's going to throw his toys out the pram. I dread to think how it's going to be when he walks through the doors. All the players are going to be like, well, okay, are they going to be on board with him? Because if Tudor couldn't get a tune out of these boys, then how's Zerbi going to cope?
Yeah. I was going to say,
really
I think
don't
it was Nigel's show earlier. I think the maximum he stayed at a club is like 2.5 seasons or 3 seasons.
Something like that. Yeah, 120 games or something like that.
Yeah.
No more than 3 seasons, yeah.
Yeah. Dan, I know if Joey don't mind, I know you're not staying on too long tonight, so I'd like to hear what your take is of what's going on with the Zerbi and Spurs at the moment and your thoughts on it.
Well, if he gets all the promises in the world and the club does its usual thing of not sticking up to the promises, then I hope he does walk out and kick up a stink. That's what people say they want, isn't it? That's what people say they want, and then it seems to change when it comes to the situation. Zerbi, I think he's a good manager. I mean, if we get him, he's a better option than pretty much anything else we got out there that we can go for. If he does come to us, I think there'd be a deal on it, basically, like he'll stay with us for a contract if he keeps us up, basically. It's just the joke of it is of the big complaints they've been about a certain amount of Spurs fans going on about how they don't want a person like that at our club. And I'm like, like what? Well, they're complaining that he stuck up for Greenwood
which he didn't.
Greenwood for his team and that. Yeah, but I know he didn't. And at the end of the day, you can always, I'll just say it how I see it. You can always rely on a very woke community to go and pick something out of nothing to cause a problem when there isn't a problem there. They're very well known for doing it. And then almost putting him on the same level as Greenwood, who was purely allegations, by the way. There was nothing committed, nothing proven. And then they're slamming it down on him like he was the one in the actual situation. Oh, no, Spurs are too big for him. Spurs are too good for him. Well, hang on a minute. We're in a relegation battle here. Who are we too big for? Who are we too good for? I mean, give me an option. Like the fellow who's defending Greenwood, I quite happily have him at the club and score 20, 25 goals. I'm sure that'd shut a few people up as well. And it's just the same problem with the fans complaining about him again. With the fans that are quite happily and go to a parade that absolutely meant nothing, but I can understand why they done it. But when it comes down to the crunch for the club and fighting for what the club needs and fighting for something for the club, like a protest, you get 150 of us dickheads standing there and you get 50,000 people just walk past you who don't care.
Yeah,
I just feel there's a lot of people out there that want to make a problem out of nothing because it doesn't suit their political side, amongst other things. What's Zerbi really going to do wrong? I mean, most of us, I think,
get us relegated.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what manager we get in here. It's going to be down to the players. Yeah, but how is it going to be down to him that we get relegated? He's going to take us over where we're 1 point away from relegation, and it looks like we are one of the favourites to go down. So it doesn't matter even who you get in there. I mean, you telling me Pep could come in and sort this crap out? Are you telling me Klopp could come in and do it? I bet you I'll lay money on it. Alex Ferguson would struggle to come in and sort this shit out. So whatever happens, it's down to the players. No matter what manager we get in there now, it's down to the players and their mentality, which seems like a very weak mentality they have. They don't seem like a very fighting bunch, do they? So no matter what manager we get in there, it's going to be down to the players at the end of the day. And who can really expect any manager to change things around in 7 games now? If it does, we've definitely got a bit of luck on our side, and it's maybe because the players have pulled their finger out their arse. But I just see a lot of Spurs fans complaining for no reason, of nothing that is to do with Tottenham, of nothing that is to do with a manager we're looking at getting in, all because of a situation that happened a while ago now, which has got absolutely nothing to do with the club, nothing to do with him, except he picked him for his football team. And that's where I think some people need to put their politics outside and just concentrate on the football.
Fair play, Joey. Sorry to
No, you
bypass
take
you
your
there.
time. No, it's fine.
What do you think, Joe? Go on. I want you to have your say and
do you?
yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. It's gone 6 o'clock. You say what you feel,
Right.
mate. You know,
Put
as long as
your
it's not every other word, you're all right.
Put your seatbelts on, people. Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Right.
Yeah, Joey.
De Zerbi coming in for huge money. It's typical ENIC, isn't it? Throw money at the manager, not at the squad. So whether he can do a job or not, I can't honestly comment because I think we're toast already anyway. And as Dan just said, I don't even think Jesus Christ can save us right now. But my next bit, I will put a disclaimer out before the wokerati come looking for me. In no way am I condoning what Mason Greenwood has done, but De Zerbi has done nothing wrong, in my opinion. He's defended one of his players. That this incident happened way before De Zerbi got involved. Spurs fans want to pretend that we're whiter than white and it's all wrong and he shouldn't do this and he shouldn't do that. Well, he said, it saddens me what happened in his life because I know a totally different person than the one who was described. So, you know, he can only speak from how he finds, which is from when he met him. But Spurs fans, I mean, Gazza is a hero. He beat his missus up. Well, you know, let's not get it wrong. He beat his missus up, okay? David Pleat. Everyone, when Levy got rid of him, oh, poor David Pleat. He's a curb crawler. Let's not get it wrong. Curb crawler. Basuma. Loris, drink driver. Our leader, Joe Lewis, insider trading, fraud, all the land grab in Patagonia. It's the information's out there. Research it all. Yeah. You know, I'm a father of 3 daughters. If someone put their hands on one of my daughters, they'd still be finding bits of them today. Believe you me. So I can't condone it. But
We're all like that.
You can go, yeah, Paratici, he was done for fraud. Aurier, didn't he get done for beating up a copper? Jermaine Genus, he's been in trouble recently. Wasn't Ledley King arrested for assault and banned from driving years ago? I mean, we could probably keep going. Jimmy Greaves, alcoholic. We can go on and on and on about what players or managers may or may not have done wrong.
Glenn Hoddle said a lot of stuff about disabled people, didn't he?
Yeah, Hoddle and Eileen Drury, but De Zerbi's not, as far as I know, ever been arrested for committing a crime. So I don't understand where they're all coming from. And the funniest thing is, and I've been looking a bit on Twitter, and there's all these fan groups who were very much into the gathering, as Cookie likes to call it. They're all, we don't want De Zerbi for this reason, we don't want De Zerbi for that reason. But they're all trying, from what I can gather, to attempt to do another parade for the Brighton game. Well, De Zerbi's going to be on that bus. What are they going to do? Boo it? Or are they going to cheer? Make your mind up now. Because you can't have it both ways. I mean, when Sonny was racially abused, disgustingly, by I think it was a West Ham fan, who said, oh, do you want to buy a DVD or whatever? And then Bentancur came out with a bit of a racial slur at Sonny. But hang on a minute. Why are we picking and choosing? Oh, that West Ham fan should be locked up forever. Oh, Bentancur, he didn't really know better. It's a cultural thing. Come on. It's
that
either
West
wrong
Ham fan wasn't
or it's
even
right.
bloody racist. He made a comment, and this is where people pick what they want to hear as racist or pick what they want to hear as sexist. He made a sarcastic comment at Tottenham about Sonny might as well get his DVD out now. What are Spurs known for? Get the DVDs out and that. And that's again where you go into a community that love to turn it political to suit them. And he copped it for it. He wasn't even being racist towards Son, for God's sake. And it was blatantly obvious. And a lot of people just use it to their advantage because it fights for their politics. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear politics on the football and that. But with what's happened just recently, it gets pushed into it. That's why I believe all sorts of it should be totally left out and dealt without the football. It wasn't a racist comment towards Son. Spurs are known, as soon as we win a game or whatever, or something good happens, what does every other club say about Spurs? Because of what Spurs do? Go and get a DVD. He just said it at the wrong time in the wrong place, and it was easy to just label someone politically. Simple as that.
I just think fans, you're right. People pick and choose what they want to be offended by. And the same thing can happen to person A and they're not offended, but it can happen to person B and then all of a sudden they are offended. Whether he's the right or wrong appointment is neither here nor there at the minute, because I don't think there is a right or wrong at the minute. Judah had to go, fine, and we had to get someone, and interim versus permanent, so there could be a slight difference there with the players' attitudes, maybe. But again, it's ENIC, isn't it? They're such good businessmen. They're such a big company, and they're all very good at business, but they always seem to be negotiating from a point of weakness. Desperation. We must sign you. We'll give you whatever you want. Oh, I don't want to come till the summer. Well, we'll give you this if you come now. They're always doing those managerial negotiations from a point of weakness. And it's quite embarrassing for a big business like that to negotiate from a point of weakness. I've had my say. Thank you.
No, you're fine, mate. Listen, people can, if it's real talk, right, it's real talk, isn't it? At the end of the day, everyone's got their opinions about stuff, and that's fine, right? And like Dan says, there's certain instances now where football's football and people want to bring politics into football. Yeah.
Big up, Saba.
Listen, we're all football fans at the end of the day, and it's just a shame that it has to go that way, and I just don't get it. I understand why people are doing it, why the woke side do what they do, but it's football. Let's talk about football. Let's talk about the merits of this bloke coming in to manage us, or was it, like we said, is it just desperation at the end of the day? The amount of money they're throwing at it, you'd think you'd have like 20 trophies under his arms. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's ever won anything. But it like Dan says, is he the best of a bunch that's out there at the moment that you could get to come to Spurs? Whether he's the bloke that's going to save you or not, if there is such a man out there, I don't know. But I just think, I know we're not paying it, but 12 million quid a year. It's a fair old chunk of change, that, isn't it?
Nice work
get out of bed for that.
Nice work if you can get it.
Steve, how are you? What do you think, mate?
Yeah, big up, Steve.
I agree with everybody, really. It's desperation, isn't it? It's their last roll of the dice. They don't get this right, they've got nowhere to hide anymore, have they? Is he the only manager available at the moment? Probably. But like you say, £12 million a year, that's crazy money, isn't it? That's absolutely crazy money.
It's 200 grand a week, isn't it?
Yeah,
About
absolutely
200 grand a week.
200K a week.
Wow.
Do I think he'll keep us up? I don't know. I agree with what Dan said. It's down to the players now. That's where you can. It's just down to the players now whether they have the fight in them or not to get us out of it. Doesn't matter which manager comes in at this point, because that's been proven. So yeah, I don't know. I think I personally think it's too late myself. I really do, because I've seen no fight from these players at all in the league in the last all season, really.
So you don't think the Zerbi can get anything out of them, Steve, at all?
I would, as a Spurs fan, I really hope he does. But from what I've seen all season, or what I've seen for the last 2 seasons, I don't. It doesn't matter who your manager is. It's down to the players. If the players ain't got the fight in them to do it, and what manager can get a tune out of them? So I don't know. But this is years of ENIC assembling, buying bang average players, and this is where we are. Not investing in the team in January. If they actually put the money, like £60 million on players in January, then I don't think we'll be in this position. But it's down to ENIC at the end of the day. That's where the buck stops. And like I said, if ENIC don't get this right, they've got nowhere to hide anymore, and that's where I am with it. So yeah, that's mine. Yeah.
Does anyone else think that it's almost throwing money at old rope, if that makes sense? Don't get me wrong, he's a manager with Premier League experience, but it just sounds so desperate. They've been almost chasing this bloke with a bit of rope. Do you know what I mean? Tied around his leg, and they wouldn't let go. And from what's reported money-wise. It started off a lot lower, and they're just so desperate to get him in now that whatever's in his contract, £12 million, to get this fella to come in, it just seems an awful lot of money. And again, I know it's not our money; we're not paying it; they're paying it. The club's paying it. But it just seems an awful lot of money, and it just seems like it just. The desperation of it just to get this fella in because we need someone now. It is very high, if you like, chaps.
What else do we have to offer?
100%. It does scream desperation. Like we will say, rumour had it there was after Zerbi about a month ago, or obviously before Tudor walked through the door, and it turns around and says, "I don't want the job."
Rumour before Frank.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, rumour before Frank. Yeah, of course, yeah. But it 100% it screams desperation. 7 games remaining. I've said many times, with the remaining games we have left, I don't see where our next win's coming from. Sunderland next. Not going to be easy. Brighton. I just really don't see where the next win's coming from. Obviously, Tudor didn't help the situation in his 5 Premier League games, swapping and changing players, playing players out of position, players arguing. Romero drifting out of his position time and time again. We've even witnessed Van der Ven putting in silly challenges. 3 months ago, he was timing them to an absolute T. So his head's not there. Players want out. It's just a complete and utter mess all round.
What else do we have to offer? I mean, I've always been one that says money makes the world go round and everything has a price on it. I've always said that I believe there's certain players out there we could have got if we'd have paid up instead of trying to make deals left, right, and centre. And like even Gareth Bale stated, one of the things that lets the club down big time is our lack of pay structure. Just taking it off what he said there. We're now in a situation where even if we do offer players treble the money they want, it won't turn heads because that's going to be 2 seasons on the trot now if we manage to stay up, that we've basically been in a relegation place.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we now have to offer with a manager is stupid wages. And that's where the money will have to talk because otherwise there is nothing that we can get to tempt to play a manager in there, basically.
But we've got a state-of-the-art training ground.
The thing is,
is any manager going to come to us unless he gets offered stupid money to go and do it? Who would go do it?
That's the thing, though. That's why I come on to quickly say, because I can't be long, so I'm just cooking dinner. I'm not feeling too good. But, Joe, what I was going to say, Dan, right, is that everyone says if you're serious about getting a manager or whoever, just pay the money. And now we're paying the money. People are saying it's desperate. Where actually you could flip it and say, well, if they're really serious about this guy and they're willing to pay the money for him, that shows their intent to actually want to give him the job that much in it, that they feel like, actually, we trust you. Well, not trust, I don't know how to put it because we don't know what this board is like, but do you know what I'm saying? That we want to give you that money because we want you to come to us. So you could actually reverse it, if you like, to what people are sort of saying.
Why couldn't have been they did this desperate in January? I think that's what a lot
I
of
know. But Dan, hold on. Can I just speak a bit more? Hold up, because my earphones are really hurting my ears because I've got, like I said, a bit of not being good. The thing is, right, the way I see it is I understand that, but the way you've got to see it is that they've made mistake after mistake in it, and we know that. And the fact that they should have got rid of Frank probably sooner than what they did and make that mistake. But obviously that's something we can't fix now. We can only fix what's happening now, not the past, innit? Like I get that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. But the thing is that, right, what we've done is we've always been doing this, right? Remember when we were chasing after Conte, right? We brought in Nuno. Then after that, we went back for him again, and then he joined us, and we threw like crazy money at Conte too, right? It was like what, 12 to 15 million pounds a season, right? And in the end, when he came in, right, the board never supported what he wanted. So in the end, we go back to square one again. But in the Zerbi round, like I don't know, like you all know, right? I don't.
The thing is, otherwise, we're not going to have a manager in it. Like, what do we do, man? Like, we want to manage. We need a manager to come in, so we've got to pay the money in it. That's the way it is.
If we got to pay the money, right? But now the thing is that whether he wants to come or not, the ball is in his court now. right? Whether he wants to take up the challenge, right? Because like I've been saying, he has to contemplate a lot of things, right? While he's doing this, because there may be some clauses in there that says that if he, the positive clause will be that if you keep us up, you get a blah, blah, blah bonus, X amount, right? But the thing is that if we get relegated, right, you're not allowed to leave, right? And then you're supposed to get a pay cut. There could be one of the clauses in there. That's why he's taking his time to think about it. If that wasn't in there, I tell you, if he has got a release clause, he would surely take it. Wouldn't any of you guys take it, right?
But then Spurs wouldn't do it. Eugene, Spurs would turn around, if you're going to be realistic here, and say, right, we're willing to pay you a lump sum of money now. Right, you keep us up, there's another lump sum of money and a 5-year contract. Spurs are not going to sign a manager on a 5-year deal at 12 million a year if they get relegated.
No,
now,
but the thing is that
don't get me wrong.
No, but then if you can put that in as a contract, right? You get us, you keep us up. You get
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. But then Spurs could put in another clause in there that says that if we go down, you have to come down with us, and you need to take a pay cut if you go down.
And what manager that's got half a brain cell is going to accept that? Anyone who would accept that, I'll say it straight, is a complete and utter dickhead. And I ain't usually one to judge people with that. Anyone that would say, I will come to Spurs for this, and if I get, I've got 7 games to sort out one of the most screwed up teams in the country, bar, Sheffield Wednesday, yeah? And if I come to you and I don't keep you up in 7 games, I get relegated and have a pay cut. I think if my mate accepted that, I'd take him around the corner and give him a quick kicking to liven him up. That would be the most dickhead thing a manager could ever accept.
Guys, we do not know. You get what I'm saying? All we can sit here and speculate what kind of clauses he's going to get.
But common sense, no, this one's common sense, Eugene. The common sense of it. I agree, we don't know, but common sense.
We don't know. Common sense or no common sense, the fact is that we don't know. But guys, before I need to make a move, right? It's going to be 2 a.m. here in Malaysia. I got one more last thing to say. 3 more home games. All you guys, you can do your parade and whatever outside, right? Please stay in the stadium and support the team. Don't walk out if it's 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 10, 0. Whoever the next manager is. Because if we don't get the Zerbi, right, my prediction is that Ben Davis is going to be our manager. And, you two guys, I've always been saying, bring Ange back, right? I tell you, if we bring Ange back, maybe we'll get a tune out of these guys, right? Guys, thanks for having me on, right?
Cheers, Eugene.
Cheers, Eugene. Ciao, mate.
Here in Malaysia now. Big up to you guys. Bye-bye. Take care. All you guys in the chat, don't forget.
Bye.
It's quite funny that people say, oh, we don't want another yes man manager, but when we get a manager that's not a yes man, they go, oh no, we don't want that one.
Yeah. And then if we wouldn't have done nothing and gone in for a manager, you'd have 3/4 of the fan base have a complete and utter meltdown that we didn't even try something different. We go and try something different. You still see about half to 3/4 of the fan base have a complete and utter meltdown for whatever reason, and then others for a different reason. And that is just why the Spurs, how shall I put it? In general, the Spurs fan base is, I use a nice word for it, unique, I think is the nice way of putting it.
But that's why you can't.
Go on, man. Sorry.
Yes, that's right. And that's why you can't try and please all the fan base, because you're never going to please all the fan base all of the time, innit? That's the way it is, because not everyone's going to be happy in it. So it's like you're like stuck if you do, stuck if you don't, because that's what I was trying to say about the manager. People say they don't pay for things and get what they want, and then people say, oh my god, they're paying too much for a manager. Like, what is it you want? Do you want us to pay and get the one we want, that we actually do want, or do you not? Like, you know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. But it's like I say, you can't ever please all the people all of the time.
I think a lot of the problem with those sorts of, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying my opinion here. I think a lot of people have a problem with this new manager if he comes, because they nailed their colours to the mast on Pochettino coming back. They were confident Poch was coming back in the summer. Everything was going to be rosy again, back to the glory days. And now all of a sudden that dream has been snatched away from them. and they're just
I
reacting to it.
think that people live in a bloody la la land if they thought that Pochettino was going to come back and first of all, play exactly how we had to, like we played before when he didn't, he's got completely different players, and two, forget all the mistakes that Pochettino actually did make, because they're all putting him on a bloody pedestal and we're begging him back like some like man or woman begging their ex back. Mate, I'll tell you what, we are so, like, our fan base is so sentimental in that way. I'm a bit
No,
more
it's just mental.
ruthless, man. Like, it's just like, so I'm a bit more ruthless. I want to move forward, not backwards. Getting Pochettino is a backward step because we're living in the
Not
past, man.
necessarily. How is it a backward step?
Because you're going back to somebody who got us to a great place, but didn't actually take us forward because he couldn't take that next step.
That was
Pochettino's fault. That was part of his fault.
Now listen,
It was.
listen. When he wanted the back end, did he get it? Yes or no?
No.
How many players did he turn down?
He turned down players. Yes,
Took his pay rise and all, didn't he? Had a nice big pay rise as well.
He turned down the players that he got offered. They weren't the players he wanted. But if you knew your team was in that much shit and you just needed some cover, a lot of people were saying, we're very well known for it. Again, the unique Spurs fan base. Like, oh, Lookman isn't good enough for Spurs. We don't want him here. Well, I'm sorry. I wish we would have bloody got him and that. And we get Gallagher, who wasn't the player what we needed. What did we do in January? Nothing. But you can name a lot of players, and a lot of Spurs supporters will say, oh, he's not good enough for Spurs. I don't want him at Spurs. When it comes to Poch got offered players. Maybe not the players that he wanted, but if he knew he had no depth on the team, just using a bit of street sense, maybe he should have accepted a couple of them. When it came down to the Champions League final, who picked Harry Kane to go on that pitch when he hadn't played for, 3 months?
Exactly.
Yep.
When someone had just scored a hat-trick, that doesn't go to the manager.
Son at left wing back against Chelsea.
Yeah, he did not take Cup seriously. He said that Cups build egos. He said that. So don't forget all these little things, that Pochettino was not to be put on a pedestal. And he liked a small squad as well. That's why he also probably didn't want to take these players on. So part of that, some of that is down to Pochettino. So I'm sorry, you can't absolve him from everything and then give him all the praise for other things. You've got to give him
It's like a lot of things, Mia. And again, especially with a lot of Spurs fan base, it's called ignorance is bliss in that idea, where some people just choose to do it on purpose. Other people, if you don't know about something, you don't know, and that's all there is to it. It don't make someone better or worse or whatever if you never focused on it, how you meant to know about it. But I do find a lot of Spurs, when it does come to Tottenham, is ignorance is bliss. Like a lot of people will turn around and say, Levy was the only problem at Spurs. There is no other problem in that. And now all of a sudden they've got no one to blame. And they're like, oh, shit, who's the problem now? And a lot of them still don't want to put it all on ENIC, where the big problem is and always was. People like to make excuses for things they believe in. And people like to play ignorant for the things they like. Now, I can understand why anyone would want Poch back in here. I wouldn't say no to having Poch back. And I thought it was going to be their last card that they could play, because it would shut up a lot of the fan base for a due amount of time. And I do think Poch is probably one of the only managers we could get at Spurs that would get the extra bit of breathing time off the fans as such if it's not going right. Whereas if it's not going right, for say we stay up and then the next 3 months we start the season's going totally shit with Zerbi, Spurs fans are going to have a complete and utter meltdown again. Whereas if it was Poch, he'd get 6 months. With this whole thing, again, ignorance is bliss. I think a lot of Spurs fans out here, a lot of us, whatever you want to call us, need to actually take a step back and just accept we are not a big club. We are a big business. We was a big club. But what have we done to prove that we are a big club in the football side? What? Relegation battles back-to-back, basically. Oh, and we got a Europa Cup that was easier to win than the bloody League Cup, for God's sake. And people still think we're this big club that should be fighting for top 4. Well, on paper, maybe. But in football, by that time we Poch, 60 years before then? Maybe. And I think what a lot of us have to do now is step off the high horse a little bit and realise what we are. And that is not a big football club in anything but money. And instead of looking at the next manager, right, I want us to get in the Europa. I want us to win FA Cups. I want us in the Champions League. Fuck that. The next manager, mate, just keep me happily in the top 10 for a season or two and I'll be happy now. I think quite a few people need to accept that Spurs are not this big mammoth elite club that people think they are when it comes to football. We are in a good chance now, a very high point of going down. And if we stay up, you will still see Spurs fans out there at the start of the next window and everything. He's not good enough for Spurs. That's not good enough for Spurs. We should be in the top 4. We should be doing this. And you just sit there and you just think, is it ignorance is bliss, or some people just genuinely, I'll say it how it is, or some people just genuinely thick? We are basically, next season, if we finish 10th, we should literally be over the moon because that's 2 seasons 17th and we're safe. That is, I think, what a lot of us have to accept, that we just need to be safe at the moment, let alone start going for cups, trophies, massive players and stuff like that. We basically need to rebuild a whole thing that was never built in the first place.
Well, yeah, Dan, there's that saying of back to basics, like Savas says many times, back to basics.
Yeah,
this is why for the past month or so, I've been crying out for Redknapp, Tim Sherwood, someone that's not only been at the club, played for the club like Tim Sherwood has, but you know they know what it means to walk in and say, "Come on, boys, get your act together. Come on, sort it out. Do you really want to see this club, this stadium in the Championship? We're a global embarrassment. Sort yourselves out." And I feel they're ones to put an arm around your shoulder and say, "Come on, boys." Zerbi, can you really see him doing that?
But the only ones that would have, but the only ones that people were screaming for that would do that were the likes of Redknapp, Sherwood, Defoe, and all of that lot. They're never going to work. They haven't managed in donkey's years.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Football is totally different now. It's not.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I get that.
You can't put your arm around me and turn me into a footballer. It doesn't work. If a player is shut down and switched off, like any job, if you go to work tomorrow, you're thoroughly fucked off with it. You're not going to give your all. Doesn't matter what your manager says to you. Oh, come on, mate. We'll just do that. We'll go for a drink later. You're going to be like, sod this. I don't want to be here.
Let me ask you a question then. I mean, obviously we all know this is. I'm just playing a devil's advocate here. Who is Harry Redknapp? Who the fuck is he? Someone please do tell me. This special manager, Harry. Yeah, one of your favourite managers. But I'm talking about modern day players like, say, Van der Ven, modern day players like Romero and other younger players.
I don't know him.
Who the hell is Harry Redknapp, apart from the fellow who goes on TalkSport? Oh yeah, he got Spurs in the Champions League a couple of times. Well done. What else has he actually done as a manager?
Before they were born.
He was a very good
you know what I mean? Now, I personally
were born.
Yeah. But look at this. This is like you're going back since he managed, like, what is it, 12, 15 years ago, basically. Most of these players probably hadn't even got laid by then, let alone play football. Yeah. And so when it comes down to it, a lot of them are going to sit there, especially with a modern day attitude of a younger society, let's say. They're going to be sitting there thinking, who the fuck's that? They might recognise him off of TV, but they ain't going to know his history back to front and everything. Like if you put a modern day manager in there, or even a manager with some real history. Let's just be honest. A lot of people like Harry Redknapp for who he is, for what he is, the way he does things and that. And we all know him because we're English. Are you telling me Romero knows Harry Redknapp's history?
Of course he doesn't. People need to take romance out of this whole manager situation.
Yes.
It doesn't work. The romance in football's long gone. The romance of the cup and the Royal Rover stuff, it doesn't exist anymore. It's a results-based business. You win, you're okay. You lose, you're out the door. Or you're in a different division. It's pretty easy.
I'm going to jump off, guys, but thanks for having me on again, guys.
You're off, Steve. All right, mate. Thanks for jumping on, Steve. Appreciate you, mate.
Take care. See you later, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Steve.
Mate. Dave's in. Dave, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. All good. Evening panel, evening chat. Don't forget, like and subscribe. You know the rules.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Give us your view, Dave, of what you think about Zerbi or the chances of it happening, or are you happy with it?
I rate him as a manager. I think he done a great job with Brighton, got him playing lovely football, hard team to knock and not concede against. Problem he's got at Spurs, straight from the off. He likes to play. He likes a ball-playing goalkeeper. Well, he ain't got one there, has he?
Not really.
Not in Vicario.
He can't even kick a ball, can he?
Nah, and
Not since the op, anyway.
No.
And basically, as well, it's he plays a very unique, direct, like triangle pattern football, and we ain't got the players for that. Our players give the ball away from 5 yards, and how is he gonna? If he does come in, how on earth is he gonna turn that? Get these lot playing literally the simple basics in 7 games. I know I sound negative, but like I said, what is there to be positive about at our club? It's shot, and if this rumour £12 million a year, do you know what I mean? That's beyond desperation. You think he's earning 12 million a year? He's earning 3 million less than Guardiola a year. And look what
we have to offer.
Yeah, exactly. We are just so desperate and run out of ideas. I wouldn't say no to him, but if we do, like, miraculously stay up, massive overhauls needed in the summer. Massive.
100%. Yeah.
Because
Either way.
we need. Oh, you said I'll put in the WhatsApp group. I put that team up the other day, yesterday, and it's just basically square pegs and square holes. A right winger, a right. Do you know what I mean? A natural wing, 2 natural wingers, not Tell on the wing.
Have we got?
Do you know what I mean?
Have we got any natural wingers?
Well, we've got Kudus, but he's
Kudus.
He's out. He's our only natural winger capable of taking players on. And I put in. I said on the left hand side, I'm dreaming of that Hauger from Bodo. What a player he is! What a player. Central midfield. I was like, I would like a Paulinho and the Gomez from Wolves, a proper ball playing central midfielder. And then you've got the player we've been crying out for all season. Hopefully he's back, James Maddison, just sitting in between the striker and the midfield, just dictating the play, controlling the tempo of the game. But can he stay fit for very long? Because he's done his ACL, isn't he? So that's
he's a bit injury prone, though, isn't he? Bit injury prone.
He's very injury prone, but he's he's literally light years ahead of who else we've got in that position.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Go on, mate.
Simmons has got potential to be a good football player, but you watch Madders play, you watch Simmons play, and there's just levels in there. Unfortunately, there's levels, absolute levels, and do you know what I mean? It's just we just need to get balance back in the team.
Maddison is one of few playmakers that are actually left in football. There's not actually many playmakers left in football. Old school number 10 playmakers.
Nah,
there isn't really many of them left in there, because Simmons definitely isn't that, for sure. I mean, and Simmons, I've got my questions about him on whether he can even handle the physicality of the Premier League. But then this year, I suppose you can wipe it off. I've seen moments of skill out of him and everything. But he's always looked better in the European competitions, where in Europe you have more breathing space, don't you? You have that little bit more time on the ball. It's not quite as physical either. Yeah. I personally don't know if Simmons can actually handle the Premier League, full stop. The physicality and lack of time on the ball. He's had a moment or two. But again, if we stay up, time will tell next season. But Maddison is just a total different playmaker. He is an old school playmaker that you used to see hundreds of them in Italy, loads of them here, loads of them in Spain and everything. And now, tell me how many old school playmakers you can actually name now that even play in the Premier League, that play like a proper number 10, a proper playmaker like Maddison.
There aren't
I'll
many
even
because
go-
it's coached out of them now when they're young. It's all about physicality, isn't it?
The only other like the player I can think of don't play in the Premier League but still plays is Isco, natural number 10, and he's seasoned now. What's he, 33 now? But like you say, they're so hard to come by.
It's because they're not used anymore. I mean, if you look at football now, it's not about footballers training to be athletes as well. It's now about athletes training to be footballers.
That's all about how many kilometres you run per game, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. That is why football. If we're going to be honest, football these days is shit. Compared to what it was 20, 25 years ago, it is nothing. Someone you call world class these days, you wouldn't even let them lace the boots of someone you called world class 20 years ago. And that just shows how old I'm getting.
As well, I think it's because it's more about physicality now. We've gone back a little bit, like it's gone back to like being more physical too than what it was skillful, more skillful. Then now it's become again more physical. So I think that's part of it as well.
I don't even think it's become more physical in that aspect. I think it's become less physical and less skillful, but it's become more physical on the stamina side of things. But then this is something they was talking about on the radio the other day that made sense, that even players training now, they don't even have to train half as much as to what they did 15, 20 years ago. And this is why people are starting to think, like on the news and that is starting to come up, that maybe this is why there's such a reason for the amount of injuries you see these days, because the players just ain't trained to do it. The players haven't got the physicality and the stamina to actually do what a player could do 15, 20 years ago, because a lot of players can't even handle a bloody game a bloody week these days. Some of them come in like, how many subs you got on the side now? You can basically sub 3/4 of your team.
Yeah, 7.
Whereas you go back, that's you had about 3 subs you could bring on, and that's all there was
one.
To it.
There was
Yeah,
one.
and then it went
even
to
before
then
then
it
it was
to
1.
3.
Yeah. And with that, they reckon where the training now is that much lighter as well, it obviously has its effect on the players playing football, where all of a sudden their bodies aren't trained up to actually play a solid game of football to, again, what you would do 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you had to have the stamina. You also had to have some physicality. If you didn't have physicality, you needed to be bloody quick on your feet. Otherwise, you'd have no legs left. You had to have a lot, whereas these days it is mainly about being an athlete. That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah, and I do agree. Like when you look at players of the past, they just had skill and they didn't have to always have the ability to run around like a lot. Because a player, look at David Beckham, he had no speed on him at all, nothing, but he could pass that ball like perfect. But he wasn't expected to do anything else. That's what he was expected to do, innit?
Yeah, get to the byline, cross it in, goal. That's what.
And what a
he
player he was. I'm a massive Beckham fan, I must say.
But then the likes of Beckham, you can go back further. Letitia, Hoddle, Ronaldinho. There's loads. You can forget them, but you'll never see the likes of those types of players again.
No, not unless it goes back to it does a full circle, Joey, and in 50 years' time, maybe. Who knows?
Well, it's like with a lot of players as well, isn't it? You can always make it quite clear that certain players. How do I put it? Harry Kane, if he doesn't get a bad injury, he's going to be playing football until he's nearly 40. Why? Because he does not rely on pace, because he never had pace in the first place. So he doesn't need the pace. Whereas you go take someone like Son, for example, who was very good, but where I'd say 70% of his game was purely down to his lightning pace, as soon as he started losing a yard or two, all of a sudden he didn't look half as good as he was. Players who rely on pace do not last as long as players who have to play a lot with their head as such. They have to make up knowing what steps are going to be made. They have to be 3 steps ahead of themselves, basically, because they haven't got the pace to be there. Whereas other
Well, yeah,
players are able to make up that lost time, even if they make the wrong decision, their pace can make it up for them. That is why
Well,
you
yeah.
see people like Harry Kane last a lot longer. Teddy
It's the
Sheringham,
same-
for example.
Yeah, Teddy, and look what happened to Michael Owen, who relied on his pace.
Yep.
Like
As soon as he
didn't
got an injury.
last. Yeah, that's right, because he relied on his pace. But Sheringham was clever, same as Harry Kane. He's a smart player, isn't it? Like you say, they're
Sheringham's
2
first
steps
10
ahead.
yards was up here on his head. Always was with Sheringham. The first 10 yards were up here on his brain.
Exactly. And that's
And
why
I
they
do
will
think-
last.
I do think that someone like Maddison's also a bit like that. He can see ahead of the game,
Mhm.
but he's also a 3/4 player, and he 1/3 player. Sorry, he plays a third of the season, injured a third of the season, and a third he sometimes just switches off a little bit. And we were warned about that with Leicester players, and I was always a bit unsure about Madders because of some of the things that I've seen with him. But he is a good player, but I think he's not 100% of the season. So.
He's another player as well. The reason I say he's an old school playmaker is because he's one of those ones that by the time the ball gets to his feet, he already knows wherever he wants to pass it, there, or he's even good enough to split that other pass that has just come in there before the ball even touches his feet. 9 out of 10 players need to get the ball and then look up. Where do I pass to now? Maddison, again, old school playmaker. Like, take Ericsson, for example. He already knew where he was going to pass that ball before he got the ball.
Yeah,
There's
because
not
he
many
reads
players
the
like that anymore.
pitch.
Yeah.
No, he reads the pitch. That's what I said. But the problem is he's not 100% player. He's a great player, but not 100% of the season player. So that's your problem, isn't it, with Madders?
Do you look on him as a fighter as well, though? Because I don't look on Maddison as much of a fighter. Don't get me wrong, I'd have him in this team all day long, but there's been many a time, you saw it last season, when things start going wrong, he starts throwing a little bitchy and just walks about the pitch doing nothing. He's done that many a time as well.
Yeah, no, he has. I don't see him as major, like a fighter kind of player. He's more of a wind-up player. He doesn't have it in him to fight. Like, I can't, not for me.
Oh, it's all gone quiet. What happened?
Big up, Mouse. How are you, sir?
Hello, everyone. You all right?
Hello, Maz. You all right, mate? How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Why
The
is it
wife's
Maz-
away.
Maz appears and everyone goes quiet. We weren't talking about you, Maz. We swear.
No, we
My
weren't,
ears
Maz.
were burning.
I promise, Maz. I was miles away listening to Mia, actually. Maz, what are your thoughts on the situation, mate?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is Dan is wrong, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Tottenham's a massive club.
No, it's
massive
not.
Club.
No, we're not.
No, but look, what are my thoughts on there? I've got a couple of points I want to make. I always hear this point that we're, as a fan base, we're too sentimental, but I'd love to know what part of our sentimentality has ever come true. Like who have we got that we've been sentimental about in the last 25 years, right? That has actually come true. Maybe Glenn Hoddle. Was that the only time that's ever really happened?
That was Enoch's first appointment, wasn't it? They kicked George Graham out and brought Hoddle in.
So, I don't think that's I hear it a lot, but you know, we always get something new and different, don't we?
How about Mason? Do you not think that keep appointing Mason's a bit sentimental because of like what happened to him and he was part of the club? Is that not a bit sentimental?
Maybe from an Enoch point of view, where they've kept him around, but he wasn't universally loved by the fan base, really, was he?
What I think it is by sentimental, maybe it's just the wrong word used for the wrong example as such. Basically, what I mean it when I say sentimental, I just mean too soft, basically, in a lot of ways. And what I mean by sentimental is Spurs fans are definitely probably the worst in football for it, in the aspect of we're going by some bog standard shambolic player and then all of a sudden make him out like he's going to be a generation. Or we're going by a player that is blatantly hasn't done nothing to prove anything, yet next thing you know, there's 40 videos on YouTube by Spurs supporters on how great he is and how great he's going to be and what he's going to do to change the club and everything else. And then we'll have other players at the club like Son. Oh God, wouldn't you kill to have him this season too? Right, I agree, but I think
those the term, the right
and
terms
he had to go. But people, Maz, they don't want to let things go at Spurs, or they make something that is bigger than what it is.
There's two words that spring to mind to I think are more apt than sentimental. Is one is delusion,
Yeah.
and the second one is woke. They're the two apt things that describe what our fan base goes through.
I can go with that
all the time. Look, in my opinion of De Zerbi, and look, don't count your chickens just yet, because every time that the media say that we're going to get one thing, we always get something completely different. You know, look at Tudor.
Yeah.
Tudor's a prime example of that. I like De Zerbi. I think I've personally, when we've been talking about which manager do we want at Spurs for the last 4 or 5 years, I've always stuck to my guns and says you need a manager with gravitas. You need a manager who can hold his own against the management. I felt Jose was that type of manager and Conte was that type of manager. I think managers like Nuno, Frank, are never good, and maybe with Ange, and we can debate that, are never going to be the type of managers that are really going to stand up against the board and say, no, this is how we do it. We either do it this way or you can go and do one. With Ange, as an example, we all got this story when Ange first came saying, if he doesn't get his way, he'll just leave. He'll just walk out in the first season. Well, according to Ange, on his podcast that he's been doing, he compromised all the way through his tenure at Spurs. And he never got the players that he wanted to. That's not the type of manager I want. I want a manager a bit like in the Jose and Conte mold to say, look, if you don't trust my experience and my pedigree, you can do one or you manage the club yourself. Now, I think De Zerbi would be that type of person. Obviously, he hasn't achieved really anything of note compared to those other managers that I mentioned. But I certainly think he'll stand up for his principles and he won't take shit from the players.
He's a poor man's Conte, basically.
Yeah. However, is that really... And I like him, right? So I'm not going to, if he comes to Spurs, I'll support him to help, in the effort for him to keep us up. But is he really the right manager that we need right now? Is he going to come in and he's going to be like, right, you're going to do it my way or not? And are the players going to be thinking, well, you'll be gone by the end of the season if we go down anyway? So, who are you to tell me what to do? Which is what they've done in the past, with Frank and Tudor. So I'm quite skeptical as to whether this is the correct appointment, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it at all. But what I will say is, Maz, into what you said there, what other choices were there at the end of the day? Reputable choices. If you want to tick the boxes off, someone who's managed in the Premier League, blah 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 blah. blah.
Jesus.
No, not that option, Mark. We're talking
No,
about
but that's so bad. It was either De Zerbi or we get someone like Roy Hodgson or.
Well, he just took a managerial job, hasn't he, Roy Hodgson?
Oh, is he? Oh, he's Bristol
so.
City.
Roy Hodgson's nearly as old as Redknapp, or older than Redknapp, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Who's the one that was his self?
So look, I don't buy this. Look, I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter how long Redknapp's been out of football, or Tim Sherwood. They don't just suddenly forget how to manage or manage certainly players, right? They might not be up to date in terms of what the modern day tactics are and things like that.
Then that's not what we need, is it? We need someone who's fully up to date now. People say we need someone who knows the club, which I think is totally irrelevant for 7 games. After that, maybe, and someone who also knows the Premier League. If you haven't adapted to the Premier League,
Redknapp knows the Premier League. Redknapp's managed big name players. We know Redknapp can galvanise players, right, and make them play for him. The only thing that's against him is the amount of time he's been out of football, right? Which
is a long time.
I give you, it is a long time. I give you that. However, I don't think that's enough. I mean, we've seen what really good looks like, and we've seen what really bad looks like. Tudor being really bad, and let's say Poch being really good. and Conte a little bit underneath them. So I don't think that Redknapp or Sherwood come anywhere near to how bad Tudor was. So I think they're reputable options. You know what I really wanted to see, and I know this was like fake news, but I saw it online, is when someone put forward Roy Keane. And the only reason I think Roy Keane would be good for us is, one, he would instantly command respect in the dressing room, right?
Mhm.
Just because of who he is as a player, what he's won, right? Two, he would punch Romero in the mouth and Van der Ven probably, which I think they need that personally. And three, he's a Spurs fan. So aside from his public appearances on TV, and we know where he talks about Man United, he is actually a Spurs fan. He's a boyhood Spurs fan. And I think deep down, if you took him away from all the cameras, I think he really cares about Spurs. And we always talk about having football people in at Tottenham, people in at Spurs. And I would consider him almost a Tottenham person because he's an actual fan. And I think that the players would play for him. Now, I'm not saying he's a great manager.
But he's got reputation as well, hasn't he, Maz?
Reputation, yeah.
As a quality player.
So for 7 games, I would give him a shot. I would give him a shot.
So who are the players going to know more of? Harry Redknapp or Roy Keane?
Well, I said bring them both down, by the way.
I can agree with that. I can go with that.
You know what?
Both of those two together.
That would be a brilliant.
I could go with that.
Right? Because he's got standards as well. That's what I love about Keane.
Yeah.
He's got standards. It doesn't matter who it is. He's got standards. And that's what I think in the short term he would bring straight away, to Spurs. Now, I'm not saying De Zerbi won't bring these things, but we know what De Zerbi's like. He's very confrontational. And I don't know whether he's going to be confrontational in a good way or a bad way. Is he going to be like Tudor, where he rubs everyone up the wrong way straight away? And is he going to look even more mercenary than Tudor because he's coming in £12 million a year and he might have a clause if we get relegated, he can leave or something like that? Is that what we really, really need?
This is the thing, isn't it? It's like, what choices were out there? You had all the Spurs, community as such talking about Redknapp, me included, by the way. Tim Sherwood, Jermaine Defoe, Teddy Sheringham, Jurgen Klinsmann has been mentioned. There's many of them, right? Spurs have obviously decided they don't want to go down that route of bringing ex-players or managers or whatever back to the club. And it seems like they've settled on this bloke. However, they've persuaded him because they've been chasing him for long enough, haven't they? In and out over the past few months. And like I said earlier, I know that the bid originally was nowhere near, the sort of money that they're throwing about now. And I know that's nothing to do with us. I don't care about the money, to be honest with you, because it's not coming out of my pocket at the end of the day. But I don't know, going back to it again, I just think it is for what it is, and there will be clauses, I've got no doubt. But, do you weigh up the cost of what he would cost to what relegation costs you?
That's been mentioned.
There you go. You're spending 50-60 million to save 250 million if it works.
And this is why there's something fishy about the news that's coming out. It doesn't make sense to me to hire a manager on a 5-year contract when you don't know whether you're going to stay in the league. It's just that I can't imagine corporate business people making that type of decision unless they make him agree that he's going to stay for the championship and bring us back up. But why would he do that when he's a sought after manager and he could go to another European,
It's a proven, I think this one, if we do get him in, is your perfect proof of money talks at the end of the day. Because there is no other reason we would have been able to get him into this club apart from basically putting the money on the table and paying stupid amount of money for him.
I
If
think
someone
you're right,
bigger comes in for him, who bigger is really going to come in for him at the moment? Because it's coming towards the end of the season. Everyone's doing their thing, whatever. Is he needed elsewhere? It doesn't look like it at the moment. But again, if we would have offered him the money that we say offered him at first, because there was rumour that we spoke to him and offered him something alongside Thomas Frank, but that's all ifs, buts and maybes that you read about. I bet you we've had to put the money up a significant amount to get him in there to make his head turn.
No, we're desperate, Dan. I reckon he's named
Dan.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. No, but now we are desperate. I reckon he's named his price. You give me this, or I'm not.
Of course
coming.
he has. That's what I said earlier. ENIC
And
are
Spurs can't argue
negotiating
it
from
at
a
the
point.
moment.
They're negotiating with someone from a point of weakness. So you're going to be had over a barrel. And let's be honest, he hasn't signed yet, and none of us would be shocked if we woke up tomorrow morning to read that talks had broken down.
There's something fishy about it. There's something really fishy about this.
They're that desperate, Mez, that they've got no option and nothing in any means or manner to attract anyone except to basically go, there's the money on the table, mate. That's what you wanted. Come and join us. That is the only thing Spurs have got now. They have got nothing. They are in no situation to debate anything. No situation to argue, have absolutely nothing to offer in the football caliber wise, as all they have now is money. Nothing more, nothing less.
Which is why we should have been protesting at the Forest game.
Yeah. Well, for sure.
Exactly.
But let's. I'm going to steer your show on track back again, Cookie.
Right? Thanks, Baz.
Right. But this is why it doesn't make sense to me, because if they had no options, right, and he was the only one, fine. But there are options. There is Redknapp, right, regardless of how long he's been outside. But there is Sherwood, there is Roy Keane, there is Big Sam, there is Sean Dice. I mean, three of those managers were relegation saving experts. I mean, Redknapp used to be a manager people used to bring in to save them from relegation before he joined Spurs. So there are options out there. If there were that, I don't, I mean, Ryan Mason is an option. Not that I think he would save us at all, and not that I'd want him back, but he is an option. So, are we really saying that there's no other managers out there that would take on the job? I think there's probably loads of managers that are willing to do.
Is Mason really an option for now, or is he more the option that you go and get in when you get relegated? For me, Mason is not an option that you pick now.
I don't think Mason is
no one. Either way, it's just an example of a player. Like some people were saying, whatever. We need a manager right now that could possibly. This is
why I almost don't believe this Zerbi story, because again, if we go down, Zerbi, I don't think Zerbi would want to stick around.
He won't,
and loads of players would leave. So is Zerbi really the manager to get Tottenham promoted? No, really, you want someone like a Roy Keane or an up and coming manager that they see potential in, that they're willing to stick with for a couple of years to try and get us back up.
But it depends what you want. It depends what you want it for, Maz. Yeah, because if you want someone in who can possibly save us, then everyone's saying they want someone who knows the club, which again is totally irrelevant to me for the next 7 games. They want someone who knows the club, knows the Premier League, knows this, has experience, a manager, this and that, everything else. But then go and change it to maybe we should just bring in Ryan Mason now. Well, then you might as well just say we're done and dust. It depends on how you want to do it.
Tom Kingham in the thing said, bring back Ange. Now, everyone, well, I don't know if everyone does. You guys know my feelings on Ange, right? I was never one of his biggest fans, but he makes more sense than Zerbi at this point, in a weird way, right? He really does, because it's his squad, effectively. He knows 90% of the players in that team.
That is a point. That is a fair point.
Right?
But then a lot of people, Maz, say, don't go back on yourself as well.
But we never go back on anything. Like this is the sentimentality thing. Like
Yeah, because we never
everyone's-
go forward. That's why.
Yeah, right. So exactly, we never go forward, we never go back. We just stagnate, and then right.
Exactly.
But here's my thing. We know that Enoch and Levy have slowly been getting rid of Tottenham history and Tottenham people out of the club over the last 20, 25 years, which I think has absolutely destroyed the soul of this club, right? But we're the same fan base that are saying, no, don't get Poch back because it's sentimental. Hold on, he is Tottenham. He's Tottenham. Why wouldn't you want a Tottenham person back at Spurs? That's the thing that's been killing us, that we don't have links to our past in the club that care about the club.
Doesn't Ledley King and Gary Mabbott work for the club?
They
Yeah,
are
but they're
ambassadors.
and they're not. Maybe King done some. I don't know if he's a fully qualified coach. Mabbott,
Yeah, Mabs did.
because of his
Ledley
son.
King did some of his badges, didn't he? He's done at least one, I think.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think he's-
But they're still. What I mean is they're still in and around the club, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're
Mabs
they're
is.
just ambassadorial roles, and they can't speak their minds because they'll get turfed out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
no, you're right. They're basically there to just keep things happy with the fans when they meet them and that, and they're basically told, "Shut
And
up."
and
this
Mabbott
what
is
you're
the
gonna
ultimate
see."
professional. I mean,
He's my hero. Everyone
I-
knows he's my hero.
I've said this story before, but Mabbott was a neighbour, so I used to see him a lot when I was younger. Out and about, and
But
I
is he
spoke to
strong
him
enough?
Did you live in
Sorry.
Bristol, Maz?
No, Mabbott.
Oh,
He used
what
to
when he
live in
moved to
Bristol.
When
He
he
lived in
moved to
London.
Tottenham.
No,
He's
when
Bristol
he was
lad,
at Tottenham, he used to live in Brookman's Park, Hertfordshire. That's where I used to live.
But you talk about Mabbott, yeah? Would you say he's a strong mentality person?
No, Mabbott wouldn't be. Oh, his health wouldn't allow him to do anything.
He's
No,
my
but I'm
hero.
saying, would you say he's a strong mentality of a person?
He's the ultimate professional.
Okay. But is
He's
he a
the
strong
ultimate.
mentality of a okay? But is
He's
he a
strong mentality,
of-
but he's a gentleman. He's not
There you go.
a
Hang
ranter
on.
and
If
raver.
I go on there.
Yeah,
Mabs' autobiography.
yeah.
But he's everything you say, which I agree with. But he still basically keeps his mouth shut and does as he's told, and doesn't really.
Yeah,
do
he
much
loves
for
the club. He's like the ultimate gentleman. He wouldn't.
Hmm.
I don't think he would badmouth Spurs no matter what.
But just by being like that and not bad mouthing the board or anything like that, I get that's his job and everything and that. Really, it looks like he's only looking out for himself, not the club.
I'll tell you a true story about Mabs now. I met him in Taunton.
Just a question.
I met Mabs in Taunton a couple of years ago. He's my hero. He's type 1 diabetic like me. And he is literally my hero. I met him in Taunton a second time I met him. And I said to Brian Daigle that I'd try and get him on Tottenham on tour. And I said to him, I said, someone I know does a YouTube channel. This before this channel started. And I said, we'd like to get you on. Because Brian said to me, he said, if he comes on, he said, you're the first one I'm inviting. I was like, thank you. So I asked him. And this is when Brian was on his full leave you out rants and all this. And Mab said to me, he said, what you got to do, you got to email the club. They sanction the channel and then tell me whether I'm allowed on there. As soon as he said that, I thought, nah, he ain't going on Tottenham on tour. Brian on there ranting about Levy.
And that's what I'm saying about Mabbott, basically. If he's, I'm not denying the sort of person he is and everything and that, but if he is such a hardcore lover of the club, like people say, then why did he just sit back and shut up and do as he's told and let Enoch walk away with it? I'm questioning that.
I'm
not saying he's a bad person in any way.
The two times I've met him, right, he's given an hour and a half talk, couple hour talk, whatever it was, and he's not said one bad thing about Enoch. Not one. He's not allowed.
Hasn't he got a different role at the club now? Don't he phone up like his day-to-day role now? He phones up elderly people with like dementia and
when COVID
just
was on,
reminisces with them.
When we was all locked down for that 6 months, he made like so many thousand phone calls. Because remember King Arthur that was on YouTube from a few years ago? It was who's the woman that's going out with Rez? It was her dad. He was on YouTube, King Arthur. He was on YouTube a few years ago. He used to get a phone call on his birthday from Mabs. He phoned like thousands of people on their birthdays if you were over a certain age.
Top guy.
Yeah, he is.
Either
fair
way,
enough.
we need. I personally think the more Tottenham people involved in Spurs, like managerial wise, the better. Like when we had Defoe, when we had Clive Allen, involved. Even when we had like Guspot involved, you need people that know what the club is and they've played for the club, around the club, and stuff. Because otherwise, we've seen what the results are when you don't have Tottenham people at
Why
Spurs.
did we even get rid of Defoe in the first place? Like, what
Exactly.
was that all about? What was that all about? And it's like what you said, Tottenham people, from the top down. Because as much as we can say that Levy was a problem and Levy had to go, which he did, I still to this day will say Levy did have to go. He was a Tottenham supporter, if I'm not mistaken. Before he had even taken over the club, he was a Tottenham supporter. So you can't say he's not a Tottenham man. Now at the helm of the club, we have bloody Guna, who even Arsenal were happy when he left because Arsenal fans were complaining about him. And since he's been in charge and Johan Langer has been there alongside him, dumb and dumber, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse than anything that we saw under Levy. So surely that should be a metric for, hang on a second, maybe we need a few Tottenham people around. But now it seems the shit that they're trying to make stick to the wall is getting Roberto De Zerbi in, which I don't know if I even believe, because I don't believe any of these stories that the journalists tell until I see them at the club signing the contract. So I really just don't think they actually have a bloody idea what they're doing here. And I don't think they're even going to have the thought to get a Tottenham person in, because if they were going to have that thought, they would have probably done it by now. They seem to be basically trying to do every possible thing, which isn't getting a Tottenham person in to try and...
Or
But
you're
Levy
sentimental
brought in
now, though. You're being sentimental.
Yeah.
You're now being you are now being sentimental. Oh, we should get Jermaine Defoe in. Why should we get Jermaine Defoe in? Oh, well, because he was a Spurs player. Who gives a fuck? What has he done to prove that he's a good coach? Nothing. What big club has he been at to be a big coach? Nothing. This, Maz, is what I mean by sentimental coming into it now. Oh, we need someone who's got Spurs history. We need someone who's got this. We need someone who's... Spurs haven't got no history in even playing a consistent way of football over the past 60 years, except Spursy. That is the only thing we've got where you can say it's been consistent. And then for people sitting here saying that we need to bring a Spurs player in who understands the club and everything, I think it was you who explained it to me, Maz, and someone else. That's more of a link between the club and the players, the club and the fans, yeah? I don't care whether he's been a Spurs player. I don't care whether he's been at Arsenal. Do you know what? I couldn't give a shit if he leaves the club and puts a Chelsea shirt on. As long as they go and do the job at the club, which no one seems to be able to do properly, that's all I ask for. But what is the point on going for people like Jermaine Defoe when he has absolutely done nothing at a big club, managerial-wise or coaching-wise?
Yeah, I don't think Defoe should be managed.
I don't know who we get at this point. I don't think that there really is anyone that we possibly could get to come in and say things.
But asking for someone just because they've been a Spurs player is being sentimental.
I'd say if you go and buy just someone who's been a Spurs player, but it don't have to be a Spurs player in the managerial seat. I think there just needs to be someone who might know the club to try and talk something into this board. I don't know, because they just don't seem to have a clue as
They
to...
won't listen.
They won't listen, exactly. So it's a pointless thing for me to even say, really, because the board don't even have a bloody clue. But I just don't really know where we actually go here. So I guess I'm trying to cling to any possible resolution that actually gets us to where we want.
Which I understand that.
Yeah.
And you're doing it in a sentimental way, hoping
In a sentimental
that
way,
it could be a Spurs player or someone with Spurs history that can do it for Spurs.
The reason why you want people look, we're in a very unique situation right now with the 7 games left. So I get your sentiment, Dan, that we just need something that will work. However, on the wider picture, we do need Spurs people at Spurs.
Why?
Because why
What
do
does it
we
matter?
need it?
Who cares?
It matters because because we're a club run by mercenaries. That's why, Dan. We're a club run by
mercenaries, Maz.
No,
Football is
not
run by
every
mercenaries.
club. Look at Liverpool. Look how many Liverpool people go and are in and around that club.
Would you say
still
football is
walking
very?
around there.
Would you say football is more money orientated than sport orientated now?
Yes.
That
A
doesn't
billion
mean that you
percent.
don't have.
Then it is more run by mercenaries.
That doesn't mean that you don't have Chelsea people still at Chelsea, Man United people still at Man United, Liverpool people still at Liverpool. We're the
I'm not
only
saying
club
everyone is.
we're one of the only clubs that doesn't have ex-players coaching or otherwise around the club involved in the football.
But if they're not good enough, who cares?
We never give them a chance whether they're good enough.
Okay.
Dan.
What would you rather? Well, a few people have been saying to me on the side here that certain players you've mentioned have coached at Spurs. If Harry Kane turns around and he goes to go get a job at Spurs after he's finished, but it turns out he's a diabolical coach and just hasn't got what it takes to do the coaching side, do we then hang on to him because he was Harry Kane and a great player?
Who do you think was coaching Kane when he was here?
Quite a few people.
Yeah. Defoe was one of them. So was Clive Allen.
But I'm asking.
Right.
But I'm asking you.
But you're saying, what has he ever done?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, why would you have Ledley King? Why did Jose have Ledley King around? Because he was a brilliant defender and he felt that he could add something to his coaching staff. Right.
I agree, but that's not what I'm asking. I'm basically asking is take the sentimental side out of it that they was a Spurs player. Who gives a shit whether they was a Spurs player or not? You want someone who can do that job. Why not?
Why not? If your family's in a time of crisis, you don't.
You're talking about you're
listen.
talking about DEI now. You might as well put DEI into this now. You basically are. You're saying employ him because he was a Spurs player. Well, no, sorry, I don't care if he played at Spurs. I employ because you're fitting someone into a situation because it goes on the tick list. You just said
he never
employ them
said
because they've been at Spurs.
No one. Who said that?
You did.
No,
you just basically
I
claimed
said they should be involved at Spurs.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Then saying that
doesn't mean they should manage Spurs, does it?
Manage, wrong phrase by me, my bad. But you're basically saying because they have been at Spurs, they should now have a job at Spurs, say coaching or whatever.
No, we should have enough people that have been in and around the club over our history, right, to keep the people that we bring in who don't know about Spurs in check. For example, Pochettino, when he came here, the first people that were around him to teach him about Spurs was Ozzy Ardiles and Ricky Villa, right? That is important because they basically indoctrinated him in the Tottenham way.
Right, I get where you're coming from then.
Right?
I was talking about more having a player in his
let me finish. Martin Jol, right, when he was here, he knew about Spurs because he loved Spurs when he was a player, when he was in England, right? So he had a link with Spurs. Redknapp, when he was here, he had a link with Spurs because he knew Bill Nick and whatever he'd done like 100 years ago, right? All of our successful managers generally have been in and around Spurs and knew of Spurs. What we've done in recent years is got literally people in, right, who know nothing about Spurs. And they don't care whether they fail or not. They sort of to Sean's point, they come in, they get their paycheck, they say some bad things, they get sacked, they get their payday. Do I really want people like that? No, not really, because we've tried it and it has not really worked.
It hasn't really worked on another side, though, has it? I mean,
fine.
Maybe I mistook what you were saying, but I don't care if someone's played at Spurs or not. I just want someone who can do the bloody job and will take pride in their job. Like I said, I don't care if the manager stands there with an Arsenal cup on the side. Let him do it. Who gives a monkeys? As long as he gets the job done properly and got on playing football, I would want to employ people at Spurs because they can do their bloody job.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't disagree with you on that, dude. Dan, sorry, I don't mean to say dude. Right?
That's all right. That's all right, mate.
Because look, I would like to think. Let's say we had a non-executive director that let's say Gary Mabbott was on the board, right? For argument's sake, and Daniel Levy turned around and said to him, "You know what? I think we should bring in Vinay." I would like to think that Gary Mabbutt, or say Perryman or someone like that would be like, hold on a minute, you can't bring a gooner into Tottenham Hotspur. That's what I mean. Like, it's not about whether like they're good coaches. You just need people that have the interest of the club to heart, and then that can
exactly
speak
it.
to speak
So if
on our behalf.
So if you've played at Spurs and played at Arsenal or Chelsea, you then shouldn't really have nothing to do with Spurs because you obviously haven't got Spurs totally on your heart.
Not as a CEO. Not as a CEO, you shouldn't.
So if you've played at Spurs but you then went to Arsenal or went to Chelsea, you should never ever be allowed to have anything to do with Spurs.
No, because we had Pat Jennings, right, and he's done both.
I'll say it's all right for one person to do it, but different rules for the others.
Well,
we're talking two-tier now.
No, but that's just one example, right? It doesn't happen often, does it?
You got to have the same rules for everybody, surely. If that's your attitude on how it should be,
he's
then
an
the same rules
anomaly
should have been
out of a long
right.
history of us not having their shit, isn't it? What do you mean? How many other players have done that apart from Sol Campbell?
It was a question.
I think
Sol Campbell.
What for me? What I'm thinking is in terms of the guy in the managerial seat, it don't have to be some former Spurs player or whatever, or but you can take maybe Mabbutt as an example. He's lurking in the background with the powers that be upstairs to give them the insight that maybe they need because they don't seem to bloody understand the club. And for me, just as long as a person sitting in the managerial chair does his job of keeping us in the Prem this season, I don't give a monkeys where they've actually been in the past, which club they've been to. But I do just part of me thinks that the workings in the background, they do just need some form of a Spurs touch at this point because there doesn't seem to be a direction in what we're actually doing right now. And the record of that has just been downward, because when we had Levy there as a Spurs supporter, we were not doing as badly as we are doing now. And maybe that's a coincidence. There could always be that coincidental fact that maybe if we got the right Gooner in, who was someone that was running Arsenal properly and started running Spurs properly, then that would be a fine day. But the current reality is that we sack the Spurs guy in charge and then put a non-Spurs guy in charge. And since that's happened, we've gotten worse. So seeing that, based on that evidence, I just cannot help but think there should be some Spurs guy lurking in the background, kind of just talking to the powers that be that we currently have. That's all I'm saying. I don't want...
Talk to them about what? Talk to them about what?
That's basically just sort of the inner workings of the club, basically. So
they've run the club for 25 years. I'm sure they know how the inside works.
Vinay and Langer, I know they ain't been here.
Oh, Vinay and Lang, okay.
Yeah,
but what is there to really talk about of a way certain things should be done at Spurs? I mean, half the reason that we're in this predicament is because there is no way of Spurs. There is no set way of Spurs.
Exactly.
All this thing that I hear countlessly of people
not the top.
This isn't the Spurs way of playing. Spurs don't play football like that. I'm sorry. Everyone got their own opinion, but to me, that is total bullshit. Spurs have not had a consistent way of playing for 60 years. We've played maybe 5 years attacking football with Poch, 3 years attacking football with Ari, and then go back another 40 years. We've played a bit of an attacking flair there, and we've been like defensive, pragmatic, attacking this, that. This is what I mean by when I say that. Well, okay,
true. Okay, let me.
Come on, let's go for it.
Venables played the Spurs way. Ozzy Idealists played the Spurs way, albeit the most kamikaze way, because we had like 6 forwards and like 3 defenders.
So Ange played the Spurs way,
right? Jeremy Francis was very pragmatic. George Graham was very pragmatic. Glenn Hoddle, we played okay under him. He wasn't. But you could argue that
if you add it up all together over the 60-year match, there has been no consistency, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's never happened.
The only anomalies the only anomalies in terms of the Spurs way,
what is the Spurs way?
Maybe Jeremy Francis, George Graham, AVB was very possession based. So I don't know if that's the Spurs way or not, right?
What is the Spurs way?
Nuno and fucking Tudor. They're the anomalies. Everyone else has been attacking football. Even
So
Pep
would
played
you
attacking
say
football.
would you say over the past 40 to 60 years we have consistently played this Spurs way of out and out attacking football?
The Spurs way is an ethos, a philosophy, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not-
what I hear it off
Yeah.
so many people of the Spurs way of playing, and then I'll go and have someone on
Yeah.
the chat tell me
You
that
know
they
why
wanted
it's called the
Gla-
Spurs way
and
of
then I
playing?
want and because,
but do you know
because
why
the
it's
only
called the
consistent
Spurs way
way
of
we've
playing?
played Spurs is Spursy. That is the only
Yeah,
consistent
but
style
you
we've
know
had.
why? You know why it's called the Spurs way of playing? Because we're one of the first clubs to cement a style, right? Is it the push and run team, right? And
So what is our style then? Because I hear
That
a lot
is our
of fans
style.
turn
Our
around
attacking
and say,
football is
"I
our
want-"
style. We made it famous, which is why we
Yeah.
had so many top players supporting Spurs when they were younger. Even Bergkamp was a Spurs supporter.
But just because you've played that way a couple of times and won
It's not a
things with it
couple,
doesn't
is it?
mean
It's
the way-
like you've got 140 odd year history. It's like you're only picking.
Well,
You're
no, we
picking like
haven't.
10
No, we
years
haven't.
when we've had
No, we haven't.
3 or 4
Yeah,
good
I'm-
managers.
That's why I said to you over the past 60 years, how
just
how
named
many
you,
years
Brad. I
have
just
Spurs
named you.
consistently, and then we can go through the whole list and say where
Through
we
the
haven't.
80s,
Consistent
right?
for me
Halfway
is
through
where
the
you play
90s.
back to back. Consistent goal scorer is when someone scores a goal at least every other bloody game, not scores 6 in 3 games and then don't score for 10
Cookie and
games.
Mark, right? You're older gentlemen, right?
The point I'm getting
Right.
across here is Spurs have not played a consistent style of football over 40 years.
I think
Because they keep
Make me wrong.
because they keep consistently
have.
going back to the epoxy drawing board, sacking manager
Right.
after manager
Yeah, but-
after
So
manager.
how can
but
Spurs have played a consistent way then if they've gone and done that? It contradicts what you're saying.
We
They have,
can't,
though.
can we? We keep chopping and changing every season. This is why if you skip the Zerbi, you stick with him, you back him, you let him implement his philosophy on the players and on the new players that come in, any youth players that come through, and you stick with it. Just because we go on a bad run doesn't mean you sack him. And this is where it's
sacking
it's
managers
rinse, repeat.
doesn't mean
It's
that
rinse,
the club
repeat, isn't
changes
it?
his philosophy, though. I don't understand. I don't understand Dan's point because I've just named the managers that we've had.
Right, okay.
And most of the managers have been attacking football managers, with the exception
But
of 3 or
you've just
4.
accepted, Maz, that over 40 years we have not had a set way of play. That
We
it
have.
hasn't been consistent. The fella
Apart
just
from the
next
la-
to you
apart
said that
from
we've
the
been
last-
up and down. That is
And
our biggest problem.
I would say what makes you think we've been up and down in terms of style. It's only since Poch left that we've been up and down in style. It's not
Okay,
been
bring up
before
the managers then and go through it. Bring up Mark. If you could bring up the managers of the past 20 years, 30 years, whatever, let's go through it then. I bet you
Yeah.
there's no consistent way of playing.
Oh, let's do it. I've named them, most of them.
Go on.
Apart from maybe the 18.
I mean, how do you look on consistent and how I look on consistent? Consistent to me is when it's back to back to back to back, not up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. Consistent isn't 4 years there, 4 years there, 1 year there. Consistent is when you've played a consistent style of football.
Yeah, but not even
let's
Man
say
United
someone
have done that,
United.
apart
Yes,
from
that-
Ferguson.
up until recent, they played consistent football for 20 years, more than we
Yeah,
ever did.
because of one manager. Yeah. But
But
what
they
I mean
played
is,
a style
since
consistently.
since Ferguson and before Ferguson, they weren't that as consistent, were they?
But we haven't been consistent. Full stop. Whether it's one manager or
Well, just-
20 managers,
You
we
got
haven't
from
played
Birmingham
consistent.
Shaw, which was attacking football. Then Pleat came in, which was attacking football.
Who played a
Venables
total
was
different? Who
attacking
played
football.
Yeah, and Pleat
Ardiles
played
was
very
attacking
different.
football.
To
Now
them.
we're into the mid
Ardiles
90s.
Right?
Right?
played very different to everybody else bar Ange.
He's attacking
So
football.
okay, so as long as you kick the ball
Oh, so
forward and
now
go
we've
for
got
goal, it's
variants of attacking football.
Well, no, I'm trying to work out the Spurs style. So if you want to say attacking football, I could go to Spurs and make us play attacking football. Then.
Yeah, most of the managers we've had have been generally attacking managers, with the exception of a few. This is what I'm saying.
We'll see.
Well, name me the ones that haven't been. Go on, just name me the
I've
ones.
just asked him to bring me up the list,
Okay, go
and
on.
that's what he's doing.
Go on. Go for it.
I'm asking for consistency.
I
I'm
always
sorry.
thought the Spurs way of playing football was free flow and attacking football, hard to beat.
I don't know about the hard to beat part. That's where I agree with Dan.
I mean, so many.
Well, to be fair, I think the only manager in the last 15, 20 years has come close to that philosophy is Mauricio Pochettino.
Can I come in here?
Redknapp.
Because I'm older than.
Oh yeah, I'm Redknapp. I'll pick it up on 100%.
Can I just chip in here, right? Just to educate old Dan up the top.
Go on.
Right, I'm going to
You can try.
educate you now, Dan. Right, I'm
Educate
63.
He won't listen, Dan.
No, he will.
Dan's
He
very
listened to me on his show when I
No,
explained it.
I'm
Right,
not
and he
know,
goes,
what are you talking
I can get that.
Just
I
pretend
can,
I do. Go on, Ellie.
right, basically, right. I know AJ. If you're older like me, 63 years old, right, and my family all from Tottenham. My dad supported Tottenham when we were fantastic in the 50s, early 50s, push and run side, won the championship, came up, won the championship again, the first division, the old first division, that is, right? And this style and this philosophy of football is in our culture, right? It's part of our soul, right? And, right, for all, when you mention the current managers, that doesn't matter who played this and who played what. It's what Spurs are supposed to do that matters. Yeah? It's not, that's where you get people who know about our club and know the style of football that we want to play. Not Vinay, not Lang. They've got nothing to do with our philosophy and our culture and our methods, right? They don't know about it. They're not educated in Tottenham. They don't even have anything. You've got to go to the sixth floor. You've got to go to the sixth floor. What? I haven't finished yet. Right? You've got to go to the sixth floor before you see anything Tottenham.
Okay.
In our stadium, right? In our training ground, right? So all of Bill Nicholson's philosophies are up there, right?
Are they?
Yes, they are. They are. They're all plastered on the walls. I've seen them myself, right? And they're in the ladies' part as well. Would you believe? Right?
Okay.
Because we've gone away from that, and that's why we haven't been successful. Look at what Bill Nicholson did,
But that's
right?
not what I'm talking about, Ellie.
Yeah, but no one won.
Bring up
Listen, hold on, I ain't finished. Nobody won that did the double for 64 years. 64
because
years.
Spurs weren't good enough.
Right, we did it. We did it, right? And we did it in a flourish. We got 115 goals. Yeah,
And?
no, I'm saying this is. I know they don't care now, and that's the problem.
What effect is that going to have on the next manager we get?
We've moved away from because Zerbi, right? He actually does play attacking football, right? Very quick football, one touch, pass and move, pass and move.
I'd say he plays TikTok football. He plays tic-tac football, and that's not out and out attacking football.
What do you think? What do you think? Tiki-taka football came from the push and run side.
But it's not out and out attacking football. No, it's not.
No. What I'm saying is tiki-taka, right, came from push and run football. So you push and you run into space. You push the ball, you run. You don't hold on to it. You push and run, right?
But you can play that from your own. You can play that from your own half and play it in a counter-attacking style as well, Ellie.
Of course you can. But what I'm saying is the philosophy of Spurs was that to play that style. All right.
No, the philosophy is just when we looked good, we played that style of football, and that's how people like to see us play. And then people are saying that Thomas Frankie's shit. I want Glasner in. Like, Mark.
No, I would. The reason why they want Glasner is because he won some. He's won a couple of cups.
Oh, yeah, but Ellie doesn't play the Spurs way. How can you have him at Spurs?
It's a foolish thing to say that you want Glasner in over Frank. All right.
Is it? I don't think Glasner over Frank.
No, because I'm telling you why. Because Frank, right, he hasn't won anything in his career, but he plays pragmatic football. He does. So it's not the Spurs style. Nobody could get on board with that. That's why he's gone.
Then we shouldn't. So Ellie, then we shouldn't have Glasner in either because he doesn't play the Spurs style, or is it just now he adapts to what you want?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a silly thing to want Glasner because just because he's a winner doesn't make him the Spurs style. I like
Mark,
to
we've
see
got put
attractive
down here, share my
football.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it down on the. I'll put it down on the bottom. Click on the thing that I've put on there.
I can't see it.
Hang on.
No,
I'll
it's
do-
for the 2 marks. It's whoever's
Hang on.
hosting the show.
Hang on, Mark. Don't touch anything. I'll bring it up.
Right, there we go.
Bloody hell, man. How'd you do that?
I'll show you. Right, there
Oh,
we go.
No, I know how
Too
we've done it.
small.
Glenn Hoddle attacking football. Santini, no. Martin Yole, I'd say he was quite attacking. Ramos, no. Redknapp, yes. Boas, no. Sherwood, no. Pochettino, yes. Mourinho, definitely not. Mason, no. Santo, no. Conte, no. Stellini, no. Mason again, no. Postecoglou, yes. Tudor, Frank, no. Igor Tudor, no.
Yeah.
There we go. No
And
set. There we go. Hang on a sec, Ellie.
Yeah, you've
There
just
we
proved
go.
our case.
There-
We've moved away from
No,
how we
I've just
play.
proved my case of how we have not played a consistent Spurs way for 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, I'm
especially
not
over the
arguing
past
with
20
you on that,
managers.
though, Dan.
So, with what Maz said earlier, that has just proved my point that there has been no consistent set style of play for Spurs over 20 odd years, especially
Yeah,
over the past
I
20
agree
odd
with you.
managers. We
I
can go
agree
back
with-
further.
I
So,
agree
what
with
is this
you.
imaginary way that Spurs should be played if we haven't played it consistently for 40 years?
Because we're idiots.
What
That's
should it
why.
matter?
We're
But again,
idiots.
Ellie, what should
one
it matter?
time that we
how
played it-
Do you give
Right,
a
back.
fuck how we play football?
Bring
if
up
we
the
win?
list again. All right, I'm going to challenge you on your list.
All right, hang on.
Right.
I'll do it. Hold on. There you
I
go.
can't even see it on there, mate. Where'd you get that from?
It's all right. Dan, put it in
Right.
the thing at the bottom. It's
I
all right.
can't.
right.
Bring,
Go on
take
then,
down
Maz.
the comments.
Glenn Hoddle.
Wait, hold on,
attacking.
hold on. No, right,
There we
okay.
go.
All right, Glenn Hoddle attacking. Jacques Santini
Oh, there it
wasn't a defensive manager. By the
He
way.
wasn't an attacking manager, by the way.
No, you can't. No, look, we're either
He
going to
was
segregate.
not. He was
He
not.
wasn't a
attacking
defensive
football.
manager.
He was not an attacking manager either.
Well, then,
he was not a Glenn
that
Hoddle
doesn't
style.
count, then, right? Martin Joe
Well,
was an
why is
attacking
it not-
manager.
Yeah.
All teams
Ramos
attack,
wasn't.
by the way.
Yeah.
Redknapp. What?
Otherwise,
Well,
you
we're
wouldn't score
talking about
goals.
this Spurs way.
Ramos, I
No,
agree with you. He wasn't. He was a pragmatic manager.
Redknapp
Right.
was attacking,
Yeah, Villas-Boas was a possession-based manager.
so he wasn't
a
out and out
defensive
attacking
manager.
football. Okay, but
When
he
you look
wasn't
at
attacking
when you look
football.
at
He didn't play the
Villas-Boas'
Spurs
stats,
way.
it doesn't suggest that. Yeah,
No,
the
but his
Spurs
style
way
of play- Right.
is keeping the ball passing, right?
Yeah.
He's attacking football, yeah? Villa-Boas did not
No.
play out and out attacking
No,
football.
no, it's
Spurs
not.
way is playing
Sherwood.
good football and keeping
It's
the ball, right?
Keeping the ball and progressing it.
Passing. Correct.
So
Oh,
you're
pass-
telling me
progressive
Villas-Boas
passing.
played out and out
Right.
attacking football?
Sherwood
basically?
wasn't a defensive manager.
Well, he had them
Pochettino
Melas,
wasn't
they
a defensive
did.
manager. The only
Sherwood was more
managers-
defensive than any of the ones you just. Sherwood was
No, he
much
wasn't.
more pragmatic than he was attacking.
No, he wasn't.
What would you two? Well, when I said all this earlier, no one confronted me on it. Is anyone
they're
trying to tell me
scared,
that
because-
Sherwood was an
you're a
attacking
mean
minded
man.
player?
Must
Must well
you're a
be.
mean man and they're not willing to
Sherwood
challenge
was
you.
not an attacking style of football.
No, I wouldn't call
Pochettino was.
Sherwood attacking. I
No,
wouldn't call
Pochettino
Sherwood.
was.
He wasn't a
Mourinho.
defensive manager though, was he?
Oh, right. So now we're
He's in
talking about
between.
3 or 4 different ways. What is the Spurs way then?
Well, look, the Spurs way is playing possession based, right? Football that is attacking, yes, right. But we've always had a balance in our play. We weren't just gun ho out and out attacking. We've never been gun ho out and out attacking.
Ozzy Ardiles?
He was. That's what
Yeah.
I said. He was like Ange on steroids in a way.
Yeah. But if you go
Right.
through most of those
But
players,
a lot of I know what you're doing because a lot of the managers you're citing has happened post Poch.
I
That's
can bring up a load more if you want.
Go on, bring up.
I'm
those.
just going past the like how many. But basically, I'm going over the past 25 years, which is a significant amount of time.
And that's why we haven't been successful.
Either way, my point is, Ellie, there has been no consistent style of way at Spurs.
Well, when we play the Spurs way, we've been successful, and they've moved away from that. Say 70% of your managers you're saying didn't play attacking.
They didn't.
The list that you've got there, and that's why we haven't won. And
Right,
the one,
so we
the
haven't-
one-
was Barcelona.
I
not
heard you
attacking
say,
then?
Dad. You said all Ange Postecoglou had to do is kick the ball forward to please the
Keep the
fans.
fan base happy.
Right?
Exactly.
And look where it led. It led to a trophy.
Yeah, a trophy that was easier
Yeah.
to win than the League Cup.
It
and
doesn't
17th place.
matter. because the League Cup is easier to win, and so is the FA Cup.
No,
if
it's
you
not.
get a good draw. If you get a good draw, it is. You could be
The League
playing
Cup is harder
for
to win than the
Alexandra.
Europa
Listen,
Cup.
I want
The
There's
League
lots
Cup
of
is
clubs-
harder than
Your
Europa.
opinion,
There's
'cause
lots
they're
of clubs that have
older.
won cups that have had a totally easy ride. Totally easy.
One sec, Ellie. I want opinion from the two marks. Come on, boys. Don't sit on the fence.
Don't be shy. Come on.
I'll let Sheriff go first.
Come on, Sheriff. Give it to us.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
What you're not sure of?
About De Zerbi or what we're talking about?
What you're not sure? The Spurs way or whether we were
Well,
attacking?
exactly. I don't think anyone is, Ellie, because there isn't one.
It is overall about the Spurs way.
And there definitely is one.
I was just showing them, Mark, by bringing them managers up, that there has been no set way of Spurs playing consistently a style of football for excess of 20 to 40 years.
No. But because we go from a defensive manager to an all-out attack manager, then back to a pragmatic manager.
Yeah.
That's only in the last 6
I
years.
agree.
In the middle.
That's because of
Only
our
in the last 6
incompetent
years.
board.
Yes,
So we
exactly.
haven't
But
played a
you've got
consistent
to think
style of
about
play,
it.
have we?
Yeah, I didn't argue with that. I'm
You've got to think
arguing
about
that
it,
there is a
right?
set way of
We've
playing.
still got
but
players.
they've moved away from it.
We've still got players in this. We've still got players in this squad that were signed for Conte.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he plays good. But he doesn't play defensive football. I don't think. I think
Well,
he
yeah,
plays.
He plays counter attack. He plays defensive direct
counter-attacking, yeah.
counter attack.
I like the
He
I
plays-
like Conte.
Yeah,
I,
like
I
that
love
football.
Conte's football. I love
No,
it.
no,
That's
no,
my
but-
favourite style of football, but
So
that's not the Spurs way.
No, but we had players. We've still got players that was brought in for Conte that played for Ange, who's the polar opposite.
Basically,
Who-
the club needs to get a way it wants to play football, like Man U used to, whatever way it's going to be. Whether it's going to be
Yeah.
pragmatic, whether it's going to be fucking TikTok, whether it's going to be fast direct, whether it's going to be out and out defense, whether it's going to be push it up them as hard as you can, whatever way you want me to phrase it, yeah. And then basically stick to that style of play. So even when the next manager goes, we get in another manager that plays that way, so he can work with those players. And even if we're going to get rid of that player, we can still go and buy a player that will fit for the system. And we
I
haven't
don't
got
even-
that,
look,
and
what
we
you're
haven't
saying-
had that for 40 years.
No, you see, the thing is, what you're saying is, I don't even think Real Madrid have even stuck to that. Right? I don't even, apart from, I don't even think Barcelona have really stuck to that either. Right?
I
If
could
you
name
ask-
you
if
quite a
speak
few
to
teams that have.
Barcelona and Real Madrid, right? They get pissed off with the slight variances between the managers. Right?
Yeah.
This the only team has consistently done that, really, that everyone knows is Ajax. Right?
Yeah.
Every
Totally
other
different.
team never
No.
does that. So
There's loads of
we
teams that
always
do it,
set
Max.
these. Sorry,
There's loads of teams that do it.
Go on,
Inter
tell me.
Milan have never really changed their style of football.
had
Roma
Jose
still play the same
Mourinho.
way. Yeah. And how do you think Inter Milan actually play football? Fast, direct
Yeah.
counter attack.
He when you compare
And they've always
Conte's
done
style,
it.
when you compare Conte's style to Jose's style, it's completely different.
The difference was who they had at players. But Conte basically plays the same style as Mourinho. They like to sit back, take it up, and then 2 balls forward, get it in the back of the net up the other end. That's exactly what Conte did with us. That's exactly what Mourinho did with us. That's how we found out how he
But
read that.
Inter
basically.
haven't always been like that, though. I don't
Inter have pretty much always played like that.
I don't
Yeah.
remember
That's
them.
always
I
been
don't
their
remember
set
them
style.
in the
I've followed them for about 30 years.
Yeah,
That
you
has
are an
always
Inter
been the
fan.
way-
I can vouch for that.
That is the way they've always
I'm
wanted
not
to
saying
play.
I'm not an Inter fan. I
Now,
just don't
in
recall
Italy-
past Jose.
In
and
Italy,
Conte.
there's only really been one team that's actually gone for more attacking football than anything, and that was actually AC Milan. They were the ones who was much
had-
more who would
They
rely on
had
attack.
Capello, he was defensive.
Yeah, and then look at the strike force they had when they had
But
Shevchenko,
what I mean
Inzaghi.
is this thing that you're requesting, so few people ever do it, right? I think it's unrealistic.
Bayern Munich have stuck to their system over the years, so have Borussia Dortmund over the
Well,
years. A lot of the big clubs have actually stuck to their way.
When you compare Tuchel's football to what they've got now, it's completely different. Come
When you
on.
go to a lot of big clubs have their main set way of play, they say, don't they?
Yeah, so do we. But we've had variances, which is exactly what we said.
but we just haven't done it for 60 years.
Have I just proved you wrong, Dad? Just showed you.
We haven't done nothing for 60 years consistently. You go
Yes,
to Inter
we
Milan,
have.
they played that way consistently.
Yes, we have done it consistently. We
But
have.
they
done
just
it
said, but Ellie
consistently.
just said we haven't done it consistently. So did the other
Well, she's
fella in that,
wrong.
where we've had different
We've
managers.
moved away from it, but we've been more consistent with
When
it.
did we move away from it?
Oh, right.
Well,
when-
with Mourinho, for example.
Yeah, in the last 6 years, which is what I just said.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm not
before-
saying over
when
the
did we
full
move
60
away from
years
it?
that Dan's saying.
Yeah,
I'm
and
saying
then
just over the last, well, since Poch went and a little bit before then. But most of the managers, I would say they played the way I like to see the football played. Even Conte, he wasn't defensive. I think he played a good brand of football. I liked the way he
Yeah,
played.
but he didn't play hardcore attacking football. He didn't play
Yeah, but
attacking
the
But
thing
we're
is,
football.
never a
you can-
hardcore attacking team. Come
You
on,
can
Dan.
still
You
like
were
the
just telling
Spurs
me
way,
we
but
are an
like other
attacking
football
club.
as well.
So what?
We-
so
we
explain
are,
to
but
me
we're not
what is the
hardcore.
Spurs way then? What is the
But when you
Spurs
say
way?
hardcore attacking, that is Ange ball, right?
That is
That's
Ange ball,
hardcore.
yes. So
Yeah,
what is
that
the
is
Spurs way
hardcore
then?
attacking.
Explain it. Let everyone on here explain
My
what they see
my
as the
view
Spurs
of
way.
my view of what the Spurs way is, right, is a possession based attacking style of football. That's
Yeah.
not that's not out.
That's
and
the
out
Spurs
attack.
way. That was the Spurs way
Yeah,
as well.
Fair enough.
Burko,
So what way
when
was that then?
the
when we
general.
came back up, it was possession-based
General.
football, pass and move, push and run.
Pass and move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what Spurs don't do today. They pass and
People like
don't
Glenn
move.
Hoddle
They
in the
hide.
team.
They don't pass. They bloody lose
They
the
pass
ball.
to the wrong. They pass to the
Yeah.
opposite team.
They pass
That's
it
what
off
we've
the
been doing.
pitch. That's what they do.
People like Glenn
Nigel-
Hoddle and Graham
Nigel
Roberts
said a
in the team.
brilliant
Glenn
thing.
Hoddle, Graham Roberts in the
Yeah.
team, proper players.
Nigel said
Aussie.
a
Steve
brilliant
Perriman
comment.
was
right?
Steve
Yeah,
Perriman.
Spurs
Steve
way
Perriman.
is to
Yeah.
play with flair.
My captain.
Sadly, football has changed. When you look at our flair
Yeah.
players over the last 20, 30 years, we had some brilliant flair players. Right?
Yes,
It's
we
only
did.
in the recent times we haven't got flair players. The last decade we had flair players. The decade
Yeah.
before then we had a few flair players. The decade before that we had flair players. So it's only
Yeah.
recently that we've gone away
Yeah.
from what we do.
The last flair player I remember in a Spurs shirt was Dele Alli.
Yeah.
And that's quite
And-
recent.
And,
Yeah.
and
But
5 years ago, right?
you know, five, maybe 6 years ago. No one's
Ericsson
seen. No one's seen.
Ericsson was a good player as well.
Yeah.
I liked
Ericsson.
Ericsson and Modric
Bale,
and Berbatov
one of the
was flair
greatest.
player.
Mhm.
What a
World
player he
footballers.
was. 2 years we had him for. I was crying when Berbatov left. Brilliant player.
Oh no, he was
Modric?
He was
And
on another
Sublime.
level.
Even
He was
even
so
Dembele
good.
was a flair player because he
Dem-
used to take players on.
Not Don Bele was a flair player, but a lazy git.
But you don't really have flair players in football anymore, though,
Not
do you?
anymore,
No.
no.
Very rarely.
No,
because
you
that's
don't.
what
Mate,
you
you
said.
It's a
look,
shame. It's the coaching, mate.
you look at the current Brazil team,
Hustle.
Yeah.
right? There is literally how far have they flown off the rails? I mean, they're out and out nine.
Richarlison number 9. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they've gone from R9 to flipping Richarlison. It's like what a complete.
It's just the mad thing is with this style of play, I'm already seeing about 4 different comments on the chat saying Spurs play, the Spurs way is this way, this way, this way, and this way. I don't think anybody actually does know what the Spurs way of play is because it's been so inconsistent for over 40 years.
It's not
No,
being inconsistent.
Well, it just proves it with a list of 25 years worth of managers where about 3/4 of them play different bloody football.
No,
Yes, it
because
did.
they've moved away from it a lot.
Oh,
So,
anyway, don't worry.
exactly.
Don't worry, Dan. I'll argue about it on your channel.
In recent times,
Yeah.
they've moved away, but they've had the Spurs way with Birkinshaw. He played the Spurs way, fantastic football.
Fleet played
Under
good football
Birkinshaw.
when we finished in
Beautiful.
87.
Martin
what's
Young
Zerbi
was
gonna do with
fantastic
us?
football.
The general.
Yeah.
What's what?
The general.
And this is spot on as well from Nige. The Spurs way is to play with flair. Sadly, football has changed, and it has. It
Yeah.
hasn't changed for the better. It's
You
changed.
know what? You know why it's changed? Because bloody coaches, they just teach them how to do passing drills. Pass. Flipping, you don't have any risk. Take a bloody risk and go at a player and beat him with your skill. They don't do it.
Do you know what? There's only actually probably
Only
one
Man City.
footballer in the world that now, like, it gets me off my seat and excited every time he gets the ball, and that's who's got flair. Is Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? He's just full of flair, swag, and do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? He's so fun to watch because you can have an army of players in front of him, and he'll dribble around all of them. It's just natural ability, confidence in yourself. Players like Ronaldo, Messi, obviously they're godlike. Ronaldo was just ruthless, weren't he? Ruthless goal scorer. He's like he's hit 1,000 goals recently, or he's pushing it. Messi just literally majestic on the ball. You look at the football today, there's none of that.
I know.
There is none of it, and it's so sad to watch. I mean, the only team I can't say my own because I can't stand watching us at the moment, but the only team I really enjoy watching in world football is Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I
Because
like watching
they've
Man
got-
City. I like watching them.
Not this year though. I think they're terrible.
No, they're not terrible.
relative to
They're
their
not
standards.
terrible. They're
Relative
not
to their
terrible. They've
standards.
had to their standard, yeah, but they're still the most attractive team to watch. They're much better than Arsenal, footballing wise. Footballing wise, they're more technical. They can hold the ball better. They make more progressive passes. Arsenal, I find them boring to watch. Sorry, Arsenal fans, you're boring. Rubbish. I don't know how they're top of the league.
I mean, you watch Bayern, and this has been the Bayern way. Like you say, like I say, I agree with like Dan here. Like Bayern don't change their way of football. They never have done. They never have done. Each coach gets brought in, into their dressing room and go, "This is how we like to play football."
But Tuchel wasn't exactly flamboyant, though, was he?
No.
Well, that's why he got a chop so soon. Do you know what I mean? Because they didn't like his way of football. I can't believe Julian Nagelsmann, when he was there, he lost 3 games the whole season, and they still sacked him.
That's madness. That was.
That's like how high are your standards?
That was a
personal thing. He was doing something naughty.
I don't know the ins and outs of it. But then you look at company now, like I mean, like Kane and Elise, what a partnership has been formed there because
I know.
Can I just say
because they've been coached properly. And this is what it's down to. We are not, our players, whether you think they're good, they're bad, they're not good enough, you can clearly see that they have not been coached properly over the last 2 years. This is why we are where we are.
Yeah. Ghosted LDN says that's because Bayern have competent people running the club. What are Bayern famous for? Keeping their ex-pros, right, that played for Bayern Munich within the management structure of their club, right?
And they've also kicked players out and done that with players and then literally booted them straight out as soon as they realised they couldn't do the job at the club.
They're always refreshing and adding and bringing them in and taking them out all the time.
Now, if they can do the job, I've got
out.
no problem with that. If they can do the job, I've got no problem with that. But the way I look at things, I'm sorry, I would not employ people through DEI. And that is purely employing them because they've played a club or whatever. I would want what is best for my club, who is going to do best and do the job best. I don't, like I've said, I could not give a shit what the player does and supports and what he thinks and what he wants to do off the football pitch. Same as a manager, same as the owner.
But Dan, we've never done that.
We're the sort of people at Spurs as well who want ENIC out and wanted Daniel Levy out as well. Now we're not quite as safe without him, but would want the owners of Spurs out. They want ENIC to sell up. But then you go and look on X and you go and watch all the Spurs fans start coming up. Right, I want ENIC out. I don't want no oil money. I don't want no blood money. I don't want no Arab owners. I don't want this owners. I don't want that owner. And you just sit there and you think, why do you actually care? Why does anybody actually care about this? I don't personally understand it. Like, I use my phrase for it. I don't give a toss whether the money gets flown over from Colombia and dropped onto the pitch. As long as it gets spent on the football, that's all I care about. Why is everyone else so sentimental about the Spurs must be this certain club, run this certain way, play this certain way, everything this certain way? Surely it's all about winning, isn't it? And that's all that matters.
Yeah, we're not winning.
What I will
Bringing
say,
our
add to
players
this,
to
right?
win.
I
Sorry,
think we do need more ex-Spurs players, legends, just around the club.
Yeah.
Because just to give this mob who we've got playing for us now, just a little reminder of who they actually play for. Because these proper players have forgotten who they're playing for.
They won't know them. That's the problem.
Dan just wants ex-Arsenal goon, because of their history, because they won cups.
I couldn't give a toss as long as they do the job, mate.
See,
I really
you're the
don't
problem,
care.
mate. You letting
Must
goons
well be.
into the club.
But like, I can't help but just agree though, because George Graham won us a trophy, and a cup is a cup at the end of the
So
day.
bringing more gooners.
If they're going to be a manager who do the job, then sure. If they win cups
one of the reasons why we've not been successful is because we don't reward our coaches that come through or want to be part of the club with positions to prove themselves or not. We just don't do it. So Dan's point, I agree with Dan. We want people on merit, but we never give any of our pros the opportunity to prove themselves. We just dispense of them straight away.
Well, look at Ben Davies. Ben Davies been at our club 10 or 11 years.
Yeah, he should.
Right?
Yeah, so we should hang on to him.
He's passed his coaching badges.
Get him in the manager role.
Look, Mourinho, right? Mourinho wasn't a good player, but he was a fantastic manager. I'm not saying Ben Davies will be a fantastic manager, but you don't have to be a brilliant player to be a brilliant manager.
But by
Even
what
Klopp,
saying then, Ellie,
Klopp was a school teacher.
Jurgen Klopp
was a PE teacher.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Do you know what I
by
mean?
what people are saying, we should then give Ben Davies a job straight away at Spurs because he's been here for a significant amount of time. You can say he knows the club better personally than any player at the club because he's been there the longest. So he should now get a job there in the coaching staff.
It makes sense.
Oh, he wasn't that much of a great player, was it? So people don't want to say that now, do they?
Yeah, I know. It
Very
makes
convenient,
sense.
this is, Ellie. Very convenient, isn't it?
No, I'm saying I said that he wasn't. He's not a great player, but that doesn't mean he won't be a great manager.
But if we go and make him a coach at Spurs or something like that,
Spurs
a load of
fans
people
will
will
do
go
their
off their
nut.
head. Yeah, because he wasn't a
they
good enough
will.
player. So we're basically talking about a sentimental thing again.
No, but he's
We've
not
now
even a
gone back to
coach,
it's
so that's not
sentimental.
even an example, Dan.
No, if you listen to what I said, I said he's been there the longest. Ben Davies would blatantly understand Spurs better than any other player there because he's been there the
He
longest.
don't understand Spurs. He should have left ages ago.
He's been there the longest because he's been there the longest.
Doesn't mean he
So surely he
understands
understands
Spurs,
it
does
now.
he?
Well, you can't tell me he doesn't either because you don't know the fella. So in that aspect,
Well,
we'll have
and
to
you
agree
don't know
to
any of
disagree.
the coaches. So, how do you
So
know
I
whether
just
you're
said we'll agree to disagree. So in that aspect, but with the way you're going about it, he has got the most history at Spurs out of every player there at the moment.
Yeah,
So
but
we
we
should
don't even
take
know if
him
he
on.
wants to be a coach.
So we,
he's doing
but
his.
we're
He's
using
done,
an
he's done his
example.
coaching badges.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
we should
He's
hang on
quite
to him.
well
Ben
publicised.
Davies
Stick
should
him
have
in the
stayed
under
there and done
18s then and let him crack on.
Mm-hmm.
Give
And
him
I
the
bet you if we
18s.
even went and done that, half the fan base would lose their head over it because it's only Ben Davies.
Look, I don't give a monkey's whether Ben Davies is a coach or not at Spurs, right? But I agree with you. If he proves himself, I don't could give a monkey's whether he's a good player, bad player or not. You know,
Yeah.
The point
That's
is
it.
we don't give our players that come through our academies and coaches like we don't do with our young players a chance. We just don't do it.
Do our young players not get a chance because they're not good enough?
We gave him one season right under Jose Mourinho, right? Then Jose got sacked, and they just let the king go. They didn't say, you know what I mean?
Was it because they didn't like him or he wasn't good enough? I don't know.
And you trust Enoch to make those decisions?
No, I'm asking a question. I don't know.
No, I don't know. But we never get like when we had Defoe, right, who worked with some of the strikers at Spurs, and we had Clive Allen, right? Why haven't we kept those boys around?
Yeah. Oh, Defoe's got
Not as if they've done a bad job in bringing in Kane and working with some of the strikers we used to have. We used to have great strikers from in the past.
Defoe's gone to Wycombe Wanderers, hasn't he?
No, Woking.
Woking.
Oh, Woking, that's it. I knew it was something with a W.
Yeah, gone to Woking. Look, we're going to wrap up shortly. Has anyone got any more?
We'll give it
that they
10
wanna
minutes,
say?
mate. Mate, give it 10 minutes and we'll send them all over to Stell's show.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Yeah, no worries. It is the Zerbi going to get Spurs out of trouble? I know I've kept asking this question, but it is the choice now, and we've kept going on about, you know, like Dan said earlier, and we've been banging on about it for ages that ENIC we're running out of places to run now. This is the final, final bit that they've got left that they can do. I haven't put that very well, but they've just gone down a blind alley at the end of the day, haven't they? And the wall's built at the end, and this is the last chance for them. Does it save us from going down? There you go.
Well, for 60 million quid, mate, it better do. You know what I mean?
It's like a pinch of salt for ENIC. They're so rich.
Well, no, but
it's nothing to them, right?
Where
but
was 60 million quid in January when we needed the players?
I like Zerbi. I think he's a character, right? I think he's. I love people with passion and character.
Yeah, that's what I like about him. But I still don't think it'll be enough.
That's why I love Conte so much.
Yeah,
well, we've seen. We're all going to find out, aren't we, in 7 games' time, or even 5 games' time, because we can save ourselves in lesser time if we get the results that we need.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he's the better. The other question I was going to ask was: does anyone know what De Zerbi's history is like, as in bringing or feeding youngsters into a team? Because I've got no idea on that part. Does anyone know about that at all? You know, like we've got the youth players; they're out on loan, most of them, or any of them that are showing anything as such. Does anyone see a world where any of these youth players come back into the squad?
Well, to be honest, mate, I've always said this. What's the point of having a youth team if there isn't a path to the first team? You just will not bother. If you're just going out and squander millions of pounds on the bums that we have been buying in,
do you know what I mean? This was always my argument of like, why buy Bergvall, Sarr, Gray, Tell? You're just blocking path for youngsters. And I'm telling you now, someone else will snap up Luca Williams-Barnett.
Oh, yeah.
They will snap him up, and
he
they will lift
him on the defence when we played in Europe, and he had a worldie. He's played in the Premier League as well. The young sort of right back, I think.
Byfield.
Yeah.
He looks quality.
He's disappeared now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like you know Arsenal, right? They brought in that Max Dallman, right? And they brought in Saka before him, and they've got Enweri, and he's at Marseille on loan. So he was with De Zerbi until he got fired.
And Skelly.
Yeah, and Miles Skelly. Yeah, he's a fantastic player as well. See, they bring their youngsters through. We haven't seen anybody since Kane.
Because you know why though? Because we haven't got class senior pros for them to mentor off. That's probably why.
Yeah.
You've got
or just maybe that they're not good enough.
Dad doesn't want them.
Well, we don't know.
I knew that was coming down.
If they're not good enough, they're not good enough. Again,
they don't even get a chance.
Oh bollocks! They don't get a chance. We're going back to sentimentality again.
No,
it all looks all
they
nice
don't
and
get a
crispy
chance.
because they're not good enough, Ellie.
How do you know that?
Because
Who's
Archie Gray
judging
gets
them?
because Archie Gray gets bought for 40 million and gets on the pitch in front of any of them, and he's shit as well.
There you go.
He's not totally shit. Come on. He's not totally shit. There's a player.
Let's just be honest. Ellie, if
I'm
you're
not.
good enough, you're good enough. If you're good enough, you will get on that pitch.
I think Luca Barnett looks really good when I see him. He's got tech, the boy, and that Yusuf Akram.
How many 90 minutes have they done in the Premier League?
No, that's the point. They don't bloody give him a chance.
Because they're obviously not ready or good enough yet. If
I-
they
I
were good
don't-
enough, they would be on that pitch. End of. No ifs or buts. So you telling me Spurs are going to leave a 17, 18-year-old player off the pitch who's good enough to be on the pitch to go and spend 40 million? No.
It's not-
It
yeah,
wouldn't
but he
happen like
doesn't
that.
play in. He doesn't play in Luca Barnett's position. Luca Barnett's an attacking midfielder, not a
That's
defensive
not what I'm on
midfielder.
about, Elliot. It's got nothing about the position. I'm talking about a player being good enough. End
Yeah,
of.
what I'm saying, Archie Gray is a defensive midfielder. Luca Barnett is an attacking midfielder. So if you're going to put him in,
Okay,
you put him
Birdfield
in.
then. Okay, but then if he's not good enough, he's not going to get a place, is he? And
I
none
don't
of our
even
youth
know what
players ever seem
Birdfield
to make
is.
it through. If our youth players were good enough, they would get on that pitch because it would be cheaper to do that than going and spunking 40 million on the wall on a bloody Oderbert and Gray. So why would they not get a chance? Maybe, just maybe, our youth academy just ain't any fucking good.
So who's judging them, right? So we had Stellini, Mason, we had shit coaches, really shit coaches.
Mourinho, Conte.
Mourinho's a long time ago, way before Luca Barnett.
Oh, right. Okay. But how comes none of the youth players really made it
I-
through then?
I personally
maybe
think-
one.
I personally think
Why do
it's good
hardly
enough.
any youth players ever make it through? Is it just a Spurs thing?
Well,
Or is it
didn't
just a
didn't Skip come through under Jose? Like introduced
one?
him?
That's what I mean. Like one out of how many? How many
Scarlett.
actually make it through?
Well, yeah, but that's just Spurs. all
Barnett
over,
didn't
though,
quite make it, did he?
No.
And
Yeah, 'cause
Winks
maybe
come
they're not
through
good
with
enough.
Potts, didn't he?
Yeah, Winks came through with Poch.
No, we're right. We're very bad at. I mean, we've unearthed gems over the
terrible.
years. Like, well, you know,
We don't get we
like-
don't give any of them a chance.
Kate King.
At least give one or two a chance. The ones who
Kane.
can, make a career at Spurs. No, you're not telling me that none of them are good enough. Come on.
Well, they're not on the pitch, so I don't think they are quite. If they're not good enough, they're not ready yet. Would you really want a manager to come in now and start giving youth players a bloody chance?
No, we're not talking about the 7 games now, are we? We're talking about future stuff.
Well, in the
just in the
future,
If they're
In the
better than
future,
the ones
we
we've
need
got,
a
Perfect time to
manager.
do it.
we need a manager that, and also new players in that can keep us out of this position. And in the English
Agreed.
Premier League, doing that with youth players is how you get relegated.
right? They've got Xavi Simmons, right? Who they hardly play.
He's
No,
not a youth
no.
player.
No, I'm just saying, who would replace him? Williams Barnett, because he plays in the same position,
Then why doesn't he?
right? tell me.
Under Igor Tudor, it would have been Pedro Porro, probably.
No,
Just
but
stick him in the
Chelsea
tent.
introduced their
Everybody
youngsters.
tells me that
into the
Xavi's
team.
not performing.
Chelsea have introduced their youngsters into the team
Because they're good
Liverpool have
enough.
Done that, yeah.
Because they're good
What
enough.
I mean is, we potentially have good enough players, but we never give them the chance, or we destroy.
that's
them.
what I said.
or maybe they're just not good enough. Full
No,
stop.
but
I
Spurs
don't
is a
believe
special
that.
case, Dan. You know that.
I don't believe
Like
none
Spurs
of them
is
are good
like
enough.
a
Come
special
on.
thing that we do to all players.
Not as if we got
whether
star
they're
players in our
established or not.
team.
Yeah, but then that contradicts everything moans about Spurs. They complain that Spurs don't spend money. We do. We just spend it crap. And Spurs are tight with very,
Who?
very deep pockets. Well, everybody does. Complains that we spend our money crap. And
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
also tight on
We
wages. and
do.
that, yeah. Okay, and if we are, then that totally contradicts it. Why would Spurs, this club that never wants to spend money on wages, players, everything else, then not go and put youth players that wouldn't cost no bloody money and maybe a bit of wages that are good enough on the pitch?
Don't
That
know.
totally
Ask
contradicts
Daniel
it.
Levy and Enoch.
I know. It just totally contradicts the way Spurs
Yeah, it
are.
does.
Stupid.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
Lubo says, they're not football
Yeah.
people.
They're not football
Rubbish.
people. That's why we need football people in the club, Dan. You know.
Maybe we need more
Mercenaries.
generational players coming through the ranks, don't we?
And Lang is definitely not a football person. Like Kate Rixham says, he's a wet lettuce.
God, I don't think an awful lot changes until both them two have gone. To be honest with you,
Till Enoch's gone, mate, nothing will ever change.
no,
Yeah.
no. And I'll tell you what. We'll wrap up on that note. Mark, have you got anything that you want to say before we go?
Gary
Just
Mabber.
that now you're all going to be sent over. You will be starting shortly to Mr. Celios.
There you go.
Okay.
So just
Brilliant.
put 2 marks raid in when you get over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure everyone subscribes to people that have got channels on here tonight. Obviously, Maz over at the Spurs Corner, Dan on his channel, the Hotspur Hood. Who else has been on? Mark, help me out. I'm trying to think.
Definitely was on money for. Oh, he's here. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. He's got a channel.
Eugene's got a channel.
Eugene.
Eugene was on.
Spursation.
Yeah.
Spurs Asian TV. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to everyone, please. And
the Tottenham
subscribe
Summit
to us.
as well, wasn't it? The Tottenham. No, what was his name? His mate, he kept putting his channel in.
Subscribe to the Hotspur Hood. That's all. Hotspur Hood.
Subscribe to everyone who's been on tonight, who's got their own channels. Just if you can like the stream on the way out, like Mark says, you'll all go over
Spurs Corner.
Over to Still. Yep, Spurs Corner, everyone. Big thanks to everyone for being on tonight. Appreciate it. You've had a right good chat, you lot, tonight. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
We'll see what Mr. Zerbi's got to offer if he signs on the dotted line. We'll be back tomorrow morning, breakfast brunch at 9:30. If you want to join us,
more work to do, then, mate. I got more work to do.
Yeah, and you'll be going over to Stelios now. Thanks for being here, everyone. We'll see you soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.